going to be. He gets away from one tackle. Lefty's still running. Cuts back up. Lefty's still on his feet. Lefty's still on his feet. He's down the sideline. He's headed for pay dirt. Touchdown, Dragons!
And welcome to York Institute as we're getting set for action here tonight as York takes on a very good team out of Livingston Academy. And I'm having a little bit of trouble with my headset. I can't hear, but now I can hear both of them. I've actually got 2 ears. I can hear with both of them. And join me as always, Gary Hall. And Gary, tonight it's not a region rivalry, but it is a rivalry to say the very least.
Well, yeah, Gary, you know, there's still district rivals in about every other sport. It's just football that they're not now, and it doesn't matter. It's Livingston, York, and it is a rivalry game, and there's a lot riding on this game, even though it's not a region game.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the importance of this game. We'll also take a look at what these two have done against each other. We'll have Dennis and the guys check out last week, look ahead at this week's game, and we'll take a look at some standings in region play for York and all that coming up here on the Progressive Pregame Show. Welcome to the Progressive Pregame Show. Our pregame brought to you by the good folks at Progressive Savings Bank.
Cheer this year for all our school teams and activities. Get behind our local schools. Join the parent-teachers group and help improve the quality of education. Sponsor school activities. Go to a ball game, hear a concert, reach higher. Progressive Savings Bank, insured by FDIC.
Everything we do, it's true. We do for you.
And back here on the Progressive Pregame Show, Gary, York comes in here 6-2. Livingston comes in at 5-3. Now, last year, York won this matchup 28-17. Good ball game last year, and York actually has won 2-0 against the Livingston. They've won the last two matchups. But before that, they were 4-10 since 04, and before the last two wins, York had lost 7 in a row. So this is one of those games that throw the record books out the window.
Really it is, and you know, Gary, it has been traditionally, it seems like, you know, you go through stretches where each team will win every other year, maybe at their home place, and then, you know, you went through a run where York won a few in a row, and then they split a few, and then Livingston won 7 in a row. Now York's won the last 2, and, you know, it's going to be a good ball game, and, you know, it's Sequatchie County, and while them and Livingston run different offenses, Livingston has a lot of experience at the skill positions, much like Sequatchie County did, and they'll know what to do, and they know how to run their offense, and it'll be up to York to stop them as well as get the wing T going and move the ball down the field.
Livingston, of course, under the direction of Coach Bruce Lamb. Coach Lamb, he is a great coach and Coach Wright is a great coach. But now you look at these two, if you look at their recent history, now as far as currently, York has lost 2 of their last 3, while Livingston has won 3 in a row before being off, and they were off last week, but they have won 3 in a row. York kind of struggling, Gary. They were struggling against 2 really good opponents, though.
Well, yeah, you know, Upperman was a very much a quality opponent that jumped on them, and, you know, York had a hard time recovering. And, you know, we listened to Coach Wright after the game last week, and thinking back on it, he probably said it right, you know, that York Institute beat themselves Friday night. Is a turnover, a failed kick, and, you know, just not being able to execute at key times in the game, Gary. And, you know, you got in any of these sports, it's important as coaches that you prepare both your coaching staff and your team, and you also, you know, that you prepared your kids and that they know what to do, especially when critical times when the game's on the line. And not to say that York didn't have that, but they failed to execute Friday night, and it cost them the game in the end.
And Gary, they had a couple of costly injuries. Of course, Headings went down on that first possession. He went down with that knee injury. Don't know how much he's going to play tonight. Also, they had Barger, their starting corner. He went down with a stinger, and then they've checked, and they haven't cleared him, so he's not going to be playing tonight. That's 2 kids that York has relied on a lot this season.
Yeah, that's two defensive starters. And of course, Josiah doesn't play all the time on defense now, but it's two defensive starters and your starting fullback on offense.
And your backup quarterback.
Backup quarterback on offense as well. And we've seen Leffy's been dinged up a time or two. He's been able to play through it and, showing his toughness. But it's two key players that's not going to be with them tonight. And it's going to be, York, they'll move probably Jacoby Allen into that corner spot opposite of Johan West. And, they'll have Thomas Miller back there as well. And then Drake will be one of the safeties. But, they will they'll have to shore that up tonight. And York, you're going to see a lot of 4 wide receiver sets from Livingston. They're going to throw the ball. They are very, like we said, they're experienced. They have 2 juniors, 2 seniors at wide receiver, a senior tailback, and a junior quarterback. So they've got a lot of experience in those skill positions, and they will, and they do throw the ball a lot.
Now, Will McDonald, he has got a great arm, too. I was watching him warm up, and he has got a great arm. That should be interesting. But we seen something from York last week that we hadn't seen. They threw the ball a lot more last week.
Yeah, they did, and, completed a lot of passes, too, Gary, and including a big long one for a touchdown to Drake, and that, good to see them throwing the ball a little, working the offense. That helps keep the defense off balance, because they're keying on the run, they're keying on that wing T, and they're keying on trying to plug up the line, those gaps between the guards and the tackles, because that's where that wing T's running through. And, if you can throw the ball, that expands the defense. The linebackers have to flare out a little more, and then that way they can't plug up those gaps in the lanes.
And Gary, this one tonight, it's going to be a big key tonight. You can control the ball. Now, if York can keep the ball away from Livingston's offense and run that methodical, kind of like Sequatchie County did against them, and take a lot of time off the clock, that would be to York's advantage because they won't have to end pass coverage as much.
Yeah, you would think that York's going to win time of possession tonight. Livingston probably not real concerned with that. They're going to be looking to do things to score and, throw the ball and stuff like that. And if York can make stops in the passing game on defense, they get off the field, they're going to win time of possession. That I think it will be important for York to play ball control, get the running game going, get the wing T going behind the blocks of the lineman and the fullback in the gaps, and move the football methodically down the field.
If you look at the teams, these two teams played, Gary, of course, the Livingston County Wildcats and York Dragons have both played Cumberland County. Of course, both beat Cumberland County, both beat Smith County, and both lost to Upperman. So that's, they're pretty much identical. And as far as scoring-wise, if you just look at the scoring on the score sheets against who they play, this thing is pretty much a coin toss.
Really it is. And, it's really – we talk about the lines of scrimmage, and that's going to be the case in every game, Gary. But the real key to this game is can York's defense stop the Livingston passing game, and can Livingston's defense stop the York running game? And whichever one does that the best is probably going to be the one that wins the game.
Well, I think we're getting ready for our national anthem, so we're going to take a timeout, and then we'll be back. We'll be back with Dennis and the guys with our rewind and our preview right after this.
It's football time on the mountain. At Progressive Savings Bank, we know running your small business is a lot like coaching
Cheer
a
this
team.
year for
You
all
call
our
the
school
plays that
teams
drive
and
your business
activities.
towards success.
Get behind
We're your
our
number
local
one fan.
schools.
After
Join
all,
the
you
Parent
provide the
Teachers Group
products,
and help
services,
improve
and
the
jobs
quality
that
of
keep our local
education.
economy moving
Sponsor school
We
activities.
partner with small businesses to help you reach your financial goals with free business checking and flexible financing to help operate and grow your business with the right financial equipment to keep you in the game. This is Mark Justice wishing our York Dragons a successful football season. We are proud once again to sponsor Dragon First Downs. Progressive Savings Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
spite of 108 teams having the week off, week number 9 of the Tennessee high school football season featured some exciting and pivotal matchups. I'm Dennis Weaver of Friday Night Thunder. Give us 3 minutes and we'll look at the highlights for the teams in the Friday Night Thunder network area and contests statewide. This is the Friday Night Thunder Week 8 Rewind. In Region 4 3A, Sequatchie County squeaked by York Institute, Smith County held off Cannon County, and Upperman rolled up Grundy County. In Region 4 2A, Westmoreland handled East Robertson, Watertown flooded Jackson County, and Trousdale County ended Cascade's 3-game winning streak. In Region 5 2A, Forest and Summertown took the week off. Lewis County popped Obion County in a non-region game, while Columbia Academy clipped Eagleville and Loretta galloped past Community in region play. In Region 5 1A, Huntland wins the blood-hate rivalry game with Moore County. Cornersville, Fayetteville, Franklin Grace, Mount Pleasant, and Richland were all on bye this week. In Region 3 6A, Riverdale rolled past Coffee County, Blackman burned Cookville, and Oakland manhandled Siegel while Warren County took the week off. In Region 5 6A, Antioch took the week off. In Region Play, Smyrna spanked Stewart's Creek, Overton dropped Laverne, and Cane Ridge clobbered McGavock on Thursday night. In Region 5 5A, Shelbyville spanked Columbia, and Lincoln County wins the Thursday night battle with White County in a pair of region games. In non-region play, Summit held off Centennial, while Franklin County and Page were on fall break. In Region 4 4A, Lawrence County and Tullahoma took the week off, while Maplewood held off Nolensville, and Marshall County leveled Spring Hill. Elsewhere in Middle Tennessee Christian got a big win at Clarksville Academy. Glencliff gets its first win of the year on Thursday night over Hunters Lane. Gordonsville torched Joe Burns. Pearl-Cone stunned East Nashville, and Springfield dumped Portland. In West Tennessee, Union City grounded Adamsville. MUS blindsided Briarcrest. Decatur County Riverside put down Houston County. Lake County shocked West Carroll. Trezevant clawed past Melrose, and Trinity Christian popped Gibson County. In East Tennessee, Greenville won the Battle of Unbeatens with Elizabethton. McCauley spanked old rival Baylor. South Green clipped Hampton in overtime. Bearden stunned Farragut on Thursday night. Oak Ridge nuked Clinton. Science Hill blanked Morristown West. Meigs County scalped Oneida. Maryville popped Ottawa. And in a battle of unbeatens, Whitwell got their first win over South Pittsburgh since 1991. That does it for the Friday Night Thunder Week 9 Rewind. You can see all the scores from our scoreboard available at our website, FridayNightThunder.com. This has been Dennis Weaver for Friday Night Thunder. Week number 10 of the Tennessee high school football season welcomes the arrival of fall weather as the regular season rushes towards its conclusion. Pivotal regional matchups dot the schedule from the Great Smoky Mountains to the mighty Mississippi. Hey folks, Dennis Weaver here, Friday Night Thunder with your Week 10 preview. We begin our preview in the Friday Night Thunder radio network area as Lewis County visits Columbia Academy with the Region 5 2A title on the line. Old rivals Livingston Academy and York Institute meet in Jamestown. Friendship Christian visits Middle Tennessee Christian with playoff position on the line in Division II. Cornersville hosts Huntland with a win, giving the Bulldogs another region title. Page hosts Shelbyville for the title of Region 5 5A. And Richland visits Moore County in a probable playoff elimination game. Elsewhere in Middle Tennessee, Gallatin hosts Beach, Rossview hosts Hendersonville, and Sycamore visits Camden with a home playoff game on the line in each one of those matchups. Clarksville Northeast hosts Henry County in a battle for playoff position, while in a quartet of rivalry games, Brentwood Academy hosts MBA, Lebanon hosts Wilson Central, Pickett County visits Clay County, and Greenbrier plays host to Springfield. In West Tennessee, Houston can win the Region 7 6A title if they beat Collierville on Friday night. Greenfield visits Lake County with a winner getting a leg up on the region title in 7 1A. Trinity Christian hosts Peabody to lock up a home playoff game. Meanwhile, Southwind hosts Brighton. Memphis Central visits Germantown. White Station visits Whitehaven. And MASE takes on Freedom Prep on Thursday, with all those games having serious playoff implications. In East Tennessee, the annual Musket Bowl takes place in Jonesboro as Daniel Boone visits David Crockett with the Region 1 5A title on the line. Knox Central hosts South Doyle with the Region 2 5A title going to the winner. Bearden visits Hardin Valley, and Sullivan South hosts Elizabethton as the winner sews up a home playoff game in each of those matchups. A trio of games will feature a battle for playoff position as Chattanooga Grace visits Mount Juliet Christian, Greenback visits Midway.
Cheer this year for all our school teams and activities. Get behind our local schools. Join the parent-teachers group and help improve the quality of education. Sponsor school activities. Go to a ball game, hear a concert, reach higher. Progressive Savings Bank, insured by FDIC.
Everything we do, it's true. We do for you.
And back here, we're getting set for the kickoff, and York, Gary, won the toss, but they deferred to the second half.
Yeah, so it'll be Johan West kicking off, and deep for Livingston. It looks like we have number 16, and that would be...
Because they've going to kick it off short, Gary, and they return by the up man up to the 41. So they got pretty good yardage to start off with.
Yeah, they did. They kicked that short, and kicking into the wind, Gary, there's a pretty good breeze blowing out the southeast here, and blowing from our right to left, and York kicking into that. Not a real long kickoff.
And so now it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Wildcats of Livingston Academy, as bringing up his team will be quarterback Will McDonald. McDonald got one man in the backfield, and that is tailback Mitchell Ayers. He had a good game last year between these two. As we had said for the first snap of the ball game, as back in the shotgun goes McDonald. McDonald got 3 men to the left, 1 to the right. York showing blitz. They're going to hand it off to Ayers, but it's dropped, and then he is going to get level. McDonald, Gary, dropped the football and then got absolutely hammered at the 35.
Yeah, that was a good snap, Gary. Team right in the hands, and I think he was looking where he's going to throw it and dropped it, and when he picked it up, Landry Cliffview there to meet him and met him hard, too.
So quarterback meeting quarterback on that one, and quickly Livingston jumps back up into formation, Gary. They're going without a huddle, so they're going to go without a huddle, but then they stand and take a long time before they snap the football.
Yeah, they line up, and then they're getting the play call from the bench, Gary, and, loss of 6 on that first down play, so it's 2nd and 16.
And now a quick out, and that's going to go through the hands, but caught by number 10, and he's going to be about a 7-yard gain, and number 10, that is Will Sims, Gary. Good concentration, but the receiver farthest out here was a good yard beyond where the ball was snapped at.
They ran 2 guys into the same route, Gary, and Brody Johnson, that had his hands on the ball first, went through his hands and unfortunately ended up in the hands of Sims, and a gain of about 8 there, not about 8, and it's 3rd and 7.
The ball was on about 34.5-yard line, and they had a guy lined up right at the 35, the wide receiver, so he was just a little bit beyond the spot of the football, and he's close again over on the far side. As now back will go McDonald in the shotgun. He's got Ayers in the backfield. Takes the snap. Rolling, looking, going to throw downfield. Got a man out there, and it's going to be broken up. Good play there by Johan West to come in the end and knock it away.
Yeah, that ball intended for Sims, and thrown down in a way where he could probably be the only one to catch it, but Johan got a hand in there and was able to knock it loose, Gary, and a good 3 and out for York here in the punt situation for Livingston.
And Joseph Dees will step back to punt it away, and Gary, that's something that York only accomplished twice last week was stopped, so that bodes well for the Dragon. Dees at the 30 will get the low snap, and he's going to bobble it. He gets the kick off, and it's going to be a boomer, though, and that's going to be taken at about the 21-yard line by the return man. I believe that was Drake.
It was Drake, and he fell forward for a yard, maybe 2 there, so they're going to start on 22, 23-yard line, Gary. But a horrible snap, bounced twice. The punter able to pick it up. York didn't really have the rush on and couldn't get there before he got it away. Kicking into the wind, got an excellent kick.
Oh, yeah, he got a great kick on that one, and the punt's going to start York at their own 21-yard line. Here comes Landrick Lefevue trying to pump up the crowd as got Drake Spout wide to the left. You got Ben Cooper in the backfield. Don't know how much we'll see Josiah Headings tonight. They're going to hand it off to Miller. Miller goes over the left side. He's going to bang ahead for about 4, and that should make it a 2nd and 6. And, Gary, that's what York needs to do, just bang slowly and keep the Wildcats off the field.
Yeah, good run by Miller over the left side there off the tackle. Got about 5 yards out of that, Gary, so it's going to be 2nd and 5.
So 2nd and 5, and that's what you want on first down. You like to have 5 yards every time on the first down because that makes the play calling a whole lot easier.
Yeah, actually, they're giving him 6 on that one, so a good run by Miller on first down.
And now this time they're going to hand it off to Cooper. Cooper trying to bounce the right side. He's going to be drugged down, and Gary, he may have got a yard out of that.
I think he lost a yard, possibly, Gary. They're marking him 27-yard line, so I think he lost a yard. And so it's going to be about 3rd and 5 for York here.
And now it's going to be 3rd and 5 for York as they've got lost a yard on that one. Lefeview will come up, and Lefeview is going to hand it off this time over the right side. That's going to be Miller. Miller on the carry, gets up to the 40, and it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Dragons.
Yeah, good run by Miller there. Got it out over the 40-yard line, and it actually, moved it out, and good run by him. Got it out to about the 40, and first down for York.
And York with a 1st and 10 now at the 41-yard line, and York looking to move the football. York, a good run by Miller. Miller with a couple of good runs to start this drive, and now the Dragons have their first down. They're going to hand off to Cooper over the right side. Cooper cut back inside, gets up over the 45, and right at the 45 is where they'll mark him. So that's going to be 2nd down and about 7.
Yeah, he got 3 and a half out of that. Moved it out to the 45-yard line. Good thing for York, they're getting positive yards on first down, Gary, and these are manageable 2nd down situations for York.
So up will come the Dragons now with Cooper in the backfield, Ben Cooper in the backfield. Don't know how much we'll see Josiah Headings. A lot of that will depend on how the game goes. Is now rolling out is the Lefeview. He's going to throw one deep. Got a man out there. Drake, and Drake's going to haul it in. Great catch by Lathan Drake at the 24-yard line, and that was just an outstanding throw by Lefeview.
Yeah, that was a one-receiver route, Gary. That was where he was going to throw the ball the whole way, and Lefeview took the snap, rolled out to the left, and made a great throw. There was coverage there short. 2 Livingston guys were there, but the ball on the money. Drake calls it in, and York's in business.
York with a 1st down now, and they will come up with a 1st and 10 at the 24 of Livingston. They'll hand it off to Ben Cooper, and Ben bangs straight ahead. That's the first time we saw the fullback, Gary. That's one thing York, without Josiah Headings, doesn't have the size, maybe that fullback position.
No, not really, Gary. And, Livingston, we see early, they're going to try to plug up that hole between the center and the guards, and they're going to try to make it tough to run in those gaps and try to bounce York out wide, and hopefully their speed would be able to make tackles. And we've seen a good evidence of that there as they hold Cooper up pretty quickly. And
now it's going to be over the left side this time, and that one's going to be pushed back, but they'll pick up a couple of yards, and I believe that's Lefeview on the keeper.
Yeah, it looked like he gave it to Cooper, but he pulled it back at the last minute, Gary, and turned it up, and not much of a gain there.
So now it's going to be 2nd and 10 for the
actually, I think
2nd and about 6, I believe.
3rd
and 6.
3rd and 7 here from about the 21.
So up will come the Dragons. They've got 3rd down here. 3rd and 7. It'll be in motion. Miller, they're going to hand it off over to Cooper. Right side. Cooper going to be tripped up, rolls over a couple of players, gets up to about the 22. That's going to bring up 4th and short, Gary.
Yeah, it is. They're marking that about the 17.5-yard line, Gary. So going to be about 4th and 2.5, maybe close to 3 yards here.
So York now with a 4th and their first 4th down, Gary, and York definitely going to go for it here. I don't think we'll see any more field goals like we tried last week. That didn't work out too well.
No, that one didn't, and but this is probably 4-down territory for York this time in the game, Gary.
And now they're going to bring it up, and Lefeview's going to keep it himself. Lefeview's going to be caught, and he's going to be hit, and he's not going to make it, Gary. He's going to be drugged down about at the 26-yard line, so the Dragons going to turn it over on downs.
Yeah, he down at about the 16, maybe got a yard out of that, and it's going to be turned over on down. So Livingston will take over about the 16-yard line.
So Livingston now with a 1st and 10 at their own 16-yard line. And, Gary, that was a good drive by the Dragons. They just need to cap it off and get some points on it.
Yeah, they did. And, They moved the ball effectively downfield. Just got to finish it there at the end, Gary.
McDonald now will come up at quarterback. He's in the shotgun. Got Ayers back there with him, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, as he calls out the play. Livingston running that no-huddle quick offenses. They'll take it, they'll snap it, throw it out. They got a man out there, and he's going to bring down the reception, get a first down. As Gary, that was a good catch over there, I believe. Was that Hollers on the catch, I believe?
It was Hollers, number 5. Jeffrey Hollers pulled that in, turned and slipped, and just about fell, but kept his balance, got 9 yards out of it, Gary.
5:45 left to go here in the first quarter, and it's second, and they mark him down short of the first down, so it's going to be second and short, about a yard. As a snap back, they're going to hand it off up the middle to Ayers. Ayers going to have the first down and gets up to the 30-yard line, and that's the first run play we've seen from Livingston Academy.
Yeah, they second and short. They lined up in the shotgun on every play. Gary is to handed that off to Ayers, who bounced it outside for about 6 yards.
So now it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Livingston Academy moving the football. Both teams have had the ball once. Both stalled in that first drive. Back in the shotgun. It goes to McDonald. McDonald's looking out. He's got a man out there again. He'll go down and get it. That's Hollers right at the 40-yard line, just shy of the 40, Gary. And that's going to be close to another first down.
They're actually going to give him the 40. I think they're going to call him just short of the first down, though, so it'll be second short.
They gave him about a foot short of the 40-yard line, so he likes about a foot. And we'll see if they run Ayers again here. They did last time on short yardage situation. Of course, they may take a shot at it here. And now Livingston with a 3 split out wide left. They're going to quick out this one to number 1. He is hit but gets away, and he's going to get the first down and gets up over the 42-yard line. Gary, at that time, number 36 for the Dragons just missed getting him in the backfield.
Yeah, that's C.J. Wall, and he just he took a dive at him, just come up with air more than anything, and it allowed him to get the first down. Got about 2 yards out of that.
So it's 1st and 10 now for as they move the ball down their own 42-yard line. Back in the shotgun goes McDonald. McDonald gets the snap. He's looking. Going to throw one deep. He's got a man out there. Overthrows number 1, Johnson, Gary, as he led Brody Johnson just a little bit too much on that one.
Yeah, you just, Johnson had broke free. He had a step on both Johan West and I think C.J. Wall, both back there in coverage, and just overthrowed him by about a step and a half.
And Gary, one thing York's going to have to do is they're going to have to get some pressure on the quarterback. They've not got close to him, but that one time when he bobbled the ball.
Yeah, they've got to come up with some plays to be able to get some pressure on him.
And now they're going to bring the blitz and drop him back. He'll throw it out. Got a man out there, brought down right the 40. Looks like the 44-yard line of York as West brings down and there that one, the reception, I believe, by number 10.
Yeah, that was Will Sims on the catch. So they're spreading it around, and they're looking to throw towards the boundaries. That ball went kind of in the seam there, Gary. A little short post route or skinny post, something like that, and Livingston's moved it into York territory.
And up will come McDonald. And they get the line quickly, Gary. That keeps York from being able to substitute.
Yeah, it does, and also to make changes on defense as well.
Ayers going to break a tackle. He's on the outside, bouncing outside, going to be knocked down. We got a flag, and that one's probably going to be a hole, Gary, judging from where they threw it.
Yeah, they threw it to where the blockers were. Nice play by Miller to come up and make that tackle. It was Cole Cooper that was there first and wasn't able to bring him down, and he bounced it outside, and Thomas Miller able to clean that up.
They're going to call block in the back, so
same thing.
Yeah,
so.
pretty much the same thing. Holding, block in the back, whatever you want to call that one's going to back them up, and that's what York needs. As Livingston, Gary, on both their first 2 possessions, have made a couple of plays that's really hurt them.
Yeah, it has, and the thing about that play is that's kind of a spot foul, so it's going to be first and about 17.
Yeah, it looks like about 17, 18 yards.
17, 18, something like that. Actually, they're calling it 20, first and 20 from the 47.
So now it'll be back in the shotgun goes McDonald. And once again, McDonald goes over and gets the sign from Coach Bruce Lamb, but they line up, Gary, and that keeps you from being able to substitute. That wears on a defense line after a while.
Yeah, it does, and more importantly, it probably doesn't allow York to make changes.
And Ayers will get the handoff, and he comes up, and he's met right at the 50-yard line by Landrick Lefevue.
Yeah, they should have him in the backfield. Cole Cooper and Dedrick Phillips both back there, and they went on each side of him. He went right between them. So, York they've had a couple of chances to stop them for loss here. They need to pin their ears back and make those tackles, Gary.
They can get all the way down to the 35-yard line, or about the 34-yard line, actually. So it's second and long for the Wildcats. Snap back, and here comes the rush. They'll throw this one out quickly. Has a little swing pass. Got a man out there, and he's on the run. And he's going to have the first down and more. Headed down the sidelines, still on his feet before he's knocked out of bounds. Get right about looks like that 9-yard line.
Actually, that looks like they're going to mark him about the 16, Gary. I can't really know. They're marking him down inside the 10-yard line. And that was the running back errors. And what happened is when York blitzed, they left the running back uncovered. They just flipped it out there to him, and a big play for York.
Yeah, now Livingston knocking on the door as they're going to have a chance to get a first down, so it must be beyond the 10. They're spotting at about the 11, I believe, so it's going to be first and 10 from the 11.
Yeah. It's actually right on the 11-yard line.
So now first and 10 for the Wildcats as they are knocking on the door. McDonald back. He's going to throw one out there. Got a man out there, but overthrew him. And, Gary, Livingston coming out. You're seeing one. We've seen a couple of run plays, but mostly it's been pass and the arm of McDonald early.
Yeah, it has. That ball intended for Brody Johnson, Gary, and I'm not sure that was a good pass. He just didn't get his hands up, and he kindly put a hand up once it got by him. And but a good play there for York, that makes it second and 10.
As it will be second and 10 now for the for the Wildcats, I should say, at the 11-yard line of York. Back goes McDonald. McDonald back rush. He gets away from it. Good block by the fullback. And now the throw out there. Got a man out there, and he's going to bring it down, Gary, but they're going to get probably about to the line of scrimmage, and that's all.
Yeah.
They got a yard, looks like.
Yeah, they may give him a yard, maybe two there for forward progress, but it looked like they kind of pushed him back at the end, Gary. And more importantly, a good play by York. Landrick Lefevue was chasing McDonald all over the place, just couldn't come up with him, and got chipped a couple of blocks and probably threw him off, but he chased him enough that he had to kind of throw a sidearm pass to complete it.
And so now it's going to be third down and 9 for the Wildcats at the York 10-yard line. McDonald gets the snap. He's going to throw to the end zone. It's up there and incomplete. And York almost had a chance at picking that one off. Gary Cooper, or Miller, I should say, almost had that one picked off.
Yeah, that ball was thrown behind the receiver, and Thomas Miller got both hands on it. Wasn't able to pull it in, though. And it's going to be fourth down, and it looks like a field goal attempt for Livingston.
And that's going to be about, a 27-yarder?
Yeah, it looks like about the 17, 18. Looks like about the 18-yard line, so we'll call it 28 yards here.
And the left footer will put it up. Not often you see left-footed kickers, but we'll see what he can do here. The kick is down. The kick is up. The kick is no good. He pulled it to the right, and that's going to make it stay at nothing ball game. York's going to get it back.
Good play by York. You good stand by York to actually, keep them off the board. And a field goal attempt. T. Beatty attempted that field goal, and he hooked it, and you could tell right away it was hooking him bad, and missed the 28-yarders. So York going to take over about the
20, I think.
20, yeah, they'll move that out to the 20-yard line. So it'll be on first and 10 from the 20.
But we did see that Beatty can kick the ball, Gary. He got plenty of distance on that, just hooked it a little bit. And now York needs to answer back. They moved the ball the first time, just couldn't put it in the end zone.
Yeah, they complete a long pass, Gary, and got a couple of good runs, moved it down the field. And, once they got down to about the 20, the drive kind of stalled out, and, York got to put another drive together.
Lefty's going to take the snap, hand off to Cole Cooper, right side, and Cole's going forward, Gary. They're sealing up Cole pretty good over here on this right side.
Yeah, they're actually putting extra blockers in there between the guard and the center, Gary, and they're taking the blocker out of that wing tee and making it tough for the wing back to get in behind the blockers, and we're seeing that about 2 to 3 yards on that one, so it'll be second and a long 7.
So 2nd and 7 now for the Dragons. You got Miller and Cooper in the wings. And the snap, they're going to hand it off to Ben Cooper up the middle, and Ben's going to go for a yard or two, Gary. He's going to be brought down quickly.
Yeah, he moves that out to about the 28-yard. I think they're going to give him about the 28-yard line, Gary. So this is going to be a 3rd and 2 situation. Got a couple extra yards out of that. York going to have to dig into the playbook probably a little bit here, Gary. We saw some option last week and a couple of things like that. We may see how that works in this game, I think, here very shortly.
And without the big banger in the back field in Josiah Headings, you got Cooper's is good fullback, Gary, but he is not the fullback that Headings is, as he's not got the size and weight. But we got a timeout before we go any further. So timeout on the field. We'll take this break and be right back. It's scoreless as we get to the end of the first quarter. Sorry about that. End of one, it's scoreless.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. When you schedule your fall maintenance with Condition Heating and Cooling, they will clean, calibrate, test, and ensure your heating system is in proper working order. Let them find and correct issues before they become major problems. Or you can take advantage of discounts up to $1,000 on new energy-saving American Standard heating and air conditioning units. See dealer for details. Offer won't last long, so call to schedule your appointment today.
Call 879-5909. Conditioned heating and cooling.
The kids are back in school and the weather's turning cooler, and that can only mean one thing. Flu season will start soon. This year, Hall Family Pharmacy wants to help you fight the flu. Getting a flu shot means that you are 60% less likely to get the flu virus. This year at Hall Family Pharmacy, we are excited to make a $1 donation to the local children's shopping spree for each flu shot we give. So don't let the flu knock you out, and come by Hall Family Pharmacy for your annual flu shot. You won't be the only one glad you did.
And we'll get you set for the second quarter, Gary. That one, a lot like that game last week. That first quarter went really quick and no score on the board. And York now with a 3rd and about 2. It's a big play for the Dragons as they'll try to get out of deep their own territory at the 28. Lefevue under center. And now he will stand up and call out another play, audible, and he'll take the snap and hand it right off up the middle, and that's straight ahead. No, actually, he's going to take it, and now going to throw it out. Ooh, that was a dangerous pass, and Lefevue put that up, Gary, into no man's territory and almost picked off.
Yeah, Ben Cooper was there, but they're going to get called probably for a legal man downfield because Bryce Slavin and number 60, that's Braden Wheeler, both were probably 15 yards from the line of scrimmage downfield. So, and that's what they're calling an eligible man downfield. So York going to get a 5-yard penalty out of this.
And that is now Livingston may.
Yeah, they should decline this.
I would decline this and take the down, I believe, if it was me. And that seems like that's what they're going to do. And
yeah, so they're declining the penalty. It'll be 4th down. York probably be punting here on 4th and 2.
Yeah, that was a situation. I thought they handed it off. It looked to me like they handed it off to Cooper up the middle. And
I think that play was busted, Gary. That was supposed to have been a handoff, and for some reason or another, Cooper was standing there, and they just didn't exchange the handoff, and then Lefevue was scrambling around trying to complete a pass, and they're going for it, looks like.
York's going to go 4th and 2 from their own 38. They're going to hand it off to Cooper. Cooper bangs straight ahead, and Cooper's going to get it. And that's a gutsy call, Gary, a gutsy call.
Yeah, it is, and good, tough run by Cooper, and move that out just almost to the 31-yard line, across the 30 clearly, so it'll be 1st down, York.
And, Gary, you look at his first quarter stats, they're pretty much even.
Yeah, they are. As far as total yards go, York 70 yards, Livingston with 87. Livingston 84 of those through the air, only 3 yards rushing. York 39 yards rushing, 31 passing.
And now Lefevue will come up, bring it up, hand it off to Cooper again. Cooper over that left side, and Gary, they just seem like they're sitting waiting on Cooper.
Yeah, they're seeing an extra block into that, Gary, and York having trouble adjusting to that. And when York's offense runs well, the blockers get the blocks, and they're able to move up the field, and the running back can just follow in behind it. And they're not getting everybody blocked at the point of attack, Gary.
So it's 2nd and long now for the Dragons. They got about a half a yard on that one, as York need to get all the way up to the 41-yard line. This time they'll hand it off to Cooper again. I believe. No, Max Miller actually on the carry, I believe, this time, Gary, and he gets up to the 35, so it's going to be 3rd and long for the Dragons.
Yeah, it'll be 3rd and about 6, and Miller able to turn that up the field, get about 4 yards out of it, Gary.
And, Gary, that time they actually moved Cooper over to the other side, actually swapped Cooper and Miller and brought Miller over to this left side on the carry. And York, we haven't seen it in a while, but they haven't played to Daedric Phillips, the big tight end, and he's checked in now. So let's see what York does here. But they like that little quick slant over the middle to do the tight end. But we got a timeout called by York. We got 10:22 to go in the first half. We ain't got nothing on the scoreboard.
A great football program is built on teamwork, and so is a great company like Micro Metals Incorporated of Jamestown. We're inviting you to come join our team. We are now hiring for different positions. We offer several benefits, including medical, dental, vision, and life insurance, short-term disability, 8 paid holidays, paid vacation after 6 months, profit sharing, 401k retirement, and more. Apply in person at 1049 Owens Road, Jamestown, or online at powdermetalparts.net.
Gary, now York's got a 3rd and long. They need to convert here. They don't want to give the ball back to Livingston. Livingston has moved the ball down the field. Both teams have moved the ball down the field, Gary, but neither one's been able to cash in.
No, they haven't. And, York, probably a good timeout there. Probably wasn't in the right set they wanted to be in. Coach Wright called timeout to get the play just right here.
So now it's going to be 3rd and long as Lefevue drops back. He's got a man out there. He's going to have to roll. Now Lefevue's got to tuck it. He's going to try to get around the outside. Does. He's up over the 4. He's going to dive ahead to the 44-yard line. 1st and 10 Dragons. And Gary, not disparaging, but number 14 for Livingston's about the size of the football. And he tried to make the stop in the backfield, just could not bring him down.
Yeah, that's Weston Klaus. He's actually a freshman, Gary, and he come up with air and allowed Lefevue to actually get the corner and turn that up the field and get a first down out of it.
So 1st and 10 now for the Dragons at their own 44-yard line. Up will come Lefevue. Lefevue under center, takes the snap, hands it off to Miller. Miller going to try to cut inside, and he's going to be wrapped up and stopped as he gets up over the 45, and he's going to get about maybe a yard out of that, Gary, and it's going to be 2nd and long again for the Dragons.
Yeah, that play just didn't go anywhere, and it was Klaus there. He is the first man there, and he's their middle linebacker, Gary, and he's in there trying to clean stuff up. Looks like he's their signal caller on defense, and he's being the disruptor right now.
Hey, maybe we need to get Headings back in there for.
Actually, he's playing on the line. He's the nose guard, more or less.
So up will come the Dragons. They roll out now. He's going to come in. He's got Lefevue. Lefevue's going to be drugged down. And we just talked about number 14. This young man might be small in stature, but he's got a lot of heart going in there.
He does, and nobody blocked him, Gary, so he had free shot at Lefevue and got him wrapped up, and it looked like Lefevue was going to get away, but he held on and was able to sling him down for a loss. So York in a 3rd and about 13 situation here.
Gary, that's where without Headings, you don't have that big back. You'd like to see that big back run straight ahead against him, maybe see what he could do against him, but now it's going to be 3rd and long, and the Dragons got to come up with something. They got a man in motion in Cooper. They'll fake it to Cooper. Cooper's going to stay back to block. Lefevue going to throw one down, and he zipped that one right through the hands of Holdren. As Holdren, Gary, would not have got enough for the first down as number 1 was sitting there waiting on him.
Yeah, he was. That was well covered, and that been hard for Holdren to come up with that. And so it really didn't have anybody open on the play, Gary, and. Just tried to get one in a tight spot and wasn't able to do it, and it's 4th down.
Snap back to Headings. Headings will punt it away, and that one definitely shanked. And that one, not a good punt, Gary. That was going to roll out right about the 36-yard line. So Headings hit that one off the side of his foot, and Livingston gets a great big break on that one.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, we've seen him punt in warm-ups, and they all look like that, Gary. I don't know if it might be the knee bothering him a little bit or what, but all kind of shanked off to the side, and not a real long punt there, and Livingston's going to take us over about the 38-yard line.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats at their own 38-yard line. McDonald brings his unit up, got 3 out to the right, 1 to the left, got Ayers in the backfield. Takes him, calls out the plays. Takes his time once he gets his guys in line. Now we're going to have a timeout called by Livingston Academy. Livingston didn't like what they saw. They take a timeout with 8:15 left to go here in the first half. It's still scoreless.
Your hospital in Jamestown has been tailoring its services to meet the needs of area residents for many years, and for one reason: to keep you, your family, and your neighbors healthy. Now we are proud to be serving our community once again as Jamestown Regional Medical Center. The two things that have always been at the core of your hospital: commitment and desire to make this community a healthier place to live. We are Jamestown Regional, a Renova Health company.
And back here, we're getting set for Livingston to go 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line. Gary, they called a timeout, and like you said, they actually had a big mismatch over here on this side.
Yeah, there was 3 receivers and only 2 backs, Gary. They didn't really have anybody standing over the guy that's in the inside slot here, and of course he's covered up, so you know he can't go past the line of scrimmage, but still you could flip the ball out to him.
And so now it's going to be 1st and 10 Livingston Academy. McDonald gets the snap. He's got a man out there. He's hit number 1, and he'll get up to the 43 before he's brought down, and that was Johnson on the catch.
Yeah, and Johnson, he was the man on the inside slot there, and you had 2 backs and, you know, 3 receivers. York trying to slide a linebacker over to try to help cover that, but they were able to complete that pass for about 5 yards.
So it's going to be 2nd and 5 now for Livingston Academy. And Livingston, we've seen them run the ball a little, but most of the time it's through the air. Now a quick snap. He's going to throw it. Got a man out there, and it's going to be caught at the 30 and headed down the end zone, and touchdown Livingston Academy. As that was just an absolutely great throw to number 7, Nate Neely, and Gary Neely caught that one in stride, and he was gone.
Yeah, he was. Took off, and, you know, he broke away from C.J. Wall, and Wall never could catch up, Gary. So, you know, he caught that, and he was off to the races. He was gone. So, touchdown Livingston there on a big, long pass.
And, Gary, that's the position you would have seen Barger at.
Yeah, you would have. He'd have been on the other corner, and, you know, got one that got away from York there.
And that one's going to be drilled right through Livingston Academy with 7:28 left to go in the second half, or second quarter, I should say. Now lead it 7-0.
Pinterest Farmers Co-op will be a proud sponsor of York Dragon football. We wish you a winning season. Every game is a success when you have played your best. Pinterest Farmers Co-op, bringing you quality products from feed, seed, and fertilizer, to automotive, to animal health and pet products, to gas, diesel, and propane, to clothing and boots for the family and a gift shop. All this and much more at Pinterest Farmers Co-op, 1219 Old Highway 127 South, Jamestown. Go Dragons! I still dream about.
Gary, Livingston Academy, they finally connect on one of those long passes, and that time he hit Nate Neely in stride, and Neely just meandered into the end zone.
Yeah, he did, and, you know, big, long touchdown pass, 57 yards. York didn't have, you know, man coverage, no help, and once Wall was beat, they couldn't recover on it. So Livingston scores first here.
So Livingston draws first blood with 7:28 left to go here in the first half. It was a defensive battle up till then, but then a great pass by McDonald to Neely, and Livingston takes the lead. Livingston, as we said, off last week, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. And the kickoff's going to be a shot down there. They'll take a big bounce and play off a player, and it'll be taken by one of the up men. He gets up to 30 to the 31, and that was Drake. And then Drake got hit after he went down, Gary, and he come up. He didn't like that at all.
No, and the ball bounced off of Miller's shin right. Drake turns it up the field, and number 35, Thomas Pennycuff for Livingston, come in a little spare late there, and probably lucky he didn't get a flag thrown on him for that one, Gary.
So now it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Dragons, Gary, and the Dragons need to show they can. They moved the football in that first possession and took it down and got or turned it over on down. So it's one of those things where they need to do that again. They need to move the ball down and put a score on the board before they go to halftime because they get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, they do. And, you know, with Livingston, they've actually put number 14, this Klaus kid up here, and York's having some problem blocking that.
And now Cooper goes over the right side. Now he's going to get some yardage, and Cooper's going to get about a dozen up to the 45. And, Gary, that time Cooper got that outside corner, and something he hadn't been able to do early.
Yeah, they sealed the corner that time. He was able to turn it up the field and got about 13 yards out of that up to the 44-yard line, Gary. And that's one way to take care of that is to run wide of it. And we saw York run some options and some other stuff last week, and I think that might be effective again tonight, Gary.
And we see Josiah Headings checking in, Gary. First time we've seen Josiah tonight. He suffered a mild MCL pull last week. And they're going to hand out to Miller. Miller's up to about midfield. Good run by Miller, and blocking out in front of him was Headings.
Yeah, Headings got a key block on Brody Johnson there, who had been crashing down off the end, and he was able to kick him out and allow Cooper to turn that up the field, Gary.
And that's a little bit of the difference as well, Gary, when you look at Ben Cooper and Josiah Headings. He's a little bit better and bigger blocker.
Yeah, that was a good seal block that time by Headings, no doubt.
This time it's going to be handoff up the middle of Headings, and Headings is going to bull straight ahead. He's going to have the first down, Gary. That's what I said earlier. I don't think number 14 is going to be able to slow down Josiah Headings, especially if he's got a head of steam.
No, and they had 3 blockers in front of him, too, and they actually moved the line forward that time, Gary. That's something they hadn't done a whole lot tonight, and moved that forward. Headings got in behind them. They're down to the 43-yard line now.
So 1st and 10 now for the Dragons as they try to answer Livingston's score. We got 6 minutes left to go in the first half in a 7-0 LA lead. And up will come Lefevue. Gets the snap, hands it off to Miller. Miller going to cut back inside, and he was just about a foot away from breaking that one, Gary. Somebody able to bring him down the last second, stops him at the 36, where Miller had that corner down there. He was looking at that corner wide open.
Yeah, a gain of about 6. Brody Johnson grabbed him by the ankle and wouldn't let go. If he get away from him, he probably gets another at least, if he don't score, he gets at least 10 yards out of it, probably more than that.
And Livingston's going to pull out Weston Klaus, and they put in big number 70, Daniel Key in the middle, and that's a world of difference between those two. And now the quick out over to Drake. Drake down the left side. He's going to get enough inside the 30 to get a first down, and the Dragons, Gary, moving the ball again, and that was just one of those quick hitters.
It was, and Cole Cooper come out of the halfback spot, got a block on number 11. That was Wesley Smith, and allowed Drake to turn that up the field and made a first down out of it.
Gary, we talked about number 14, Wesleyan Klaus. He goes about 100 pounds. The guy they've got in there now goes about 300 as a big Daniel Key comes in at the nose guard position. And this time, York will hand out to Ben Cooper. He's going to go low and get through for a few yards and pick up about a 3-yard gain, going to make it 2nd and 7.
Yeah, he ran through and ran right into the arms of number 55, Austin Reeder, who wrapped him up for the tackle. But, you know, if he's able to sidestep that, he had a lot of running room also, Gary, because there was not another white shirt there.
Yeah, he had a whole lot of real estate ahead of him. And now it's going to be 2nd and about 7 for the Dragons as up will come Lefevue. Got Cole Cooper in motion. He's going to hand off Thomas Miller. Thomas Miller breaks free for the line. He's still on his feet, still in there for a touchdown, Dragons.
Great run by Thomas Miller, Gary. He sprung that out, sidestepped a couple of tackles, and then he only had 2 guys to beat, and he just kind of shuffled between the 2 of them into the end zone for the touchdown.
And the Dragons now are an extra point away from tying this ball game. We've got 4:13 left to go in the quarter, though. Livingston will get the football back, and they can move it in 4:13. So the Dragons need to come up with a big defensive stop after West puts the extra point up and puts the extra point through. We got 4:13 to go till halftime, and we're knotted at 7 apiece.
And Coach Charles Vaughn, 17 years of coaching. He took his team to the state playoffs and led them in multiple district and bowl championships. His life modeled teamwork, integrity, and hard work. I'm Joy Vaughn. Man, not only was my dad, but he was my coach. I grew up learning these values, and they are a large part of what Meta-Thrift Pharmacy is founded on. Come out and support our York football team.
So the Dragons marched down here and put up a score, and that's just exactly what they needed. Now, though, Livingston don't get the ball back with 4:13. York really needs to stop here and keep Livingston from scoring, because they'll get the ball to start the second half regardless of what Livingston does here.
Yeah, they will, and, York trying to blitz and do some certain things, and they were going to kick off their own way, which they really didn't want to do because they kick into the wind. So we're getting them turned around here, but York got to be able to get the quarterback has been able to. McDonald has been able to sidestep all the pressure so far, Gary. They've got to get an arm on him and bring him down and put them in a long yardage situation, and then make it hard for him to make the throws that he's made here through the first quarter and a half.
On West, the kickoff's going to be a deep one, and the back guy bobbles it a bit deep in his own territory, trying to bring it out. He's going to be taken down right there, and Gary, that's I think going to be about the 12-yard line maybe.
They're going to mark him out to almost the 13, maybe the 14-yard line, Gary. They're giving him a little bit of forward progress. I think, let's see, no, they're going to mark it about the 13-yard line. So York got them pinned back, a good play. That ball had some spin on it, and the Livingston returner tried to catch it, and it went through his hands and just sit there and spun. They slowed to pick it up, and as he tried to turn upfield, Cole Cooper was there to clean it up very quickly.
So 1st and 10 now for the Wildcats at their own 13-yard line. McDonald in the shotgun. We got 4:05 left to go in the first half.
Be a good time for York to get a turnover here, an interception deep in Livingston territory, Gary.
And they're going to fake the handoff and throw it, and that goes through the hands of the receiver. But Gary, he was wide open over there.
Yeah, that was I believe that's Brody Johnson again, and Drake was there in behind him, but that ball actually high and over the head of both of them, and that was not Johnson. That's number 11, Wesley Smith.
So Smith was the intended receiver. And York now has Livingston has a 2nd and 10 from their own 13. There goes McDonald. Got Ayers in the backfield. Takes a snap. Rolls out. He's going to dump a little pass off to Harris. Harris trying to get outside. And good play by the Dragons defense, Gary. I'm not sure who that was coming with the play, but I believe it's Ben Cooper.
Actually, Ben Cooper was there to clean it up, but it's Johan West that was there first, and he got through the first block, Gary. That was Johnson, and tried to turn that up the field, and Johan wouldn't let him, and pinned him back, and it's going to be, they got about 3 yards out of it, so it's 3rd and 7.
3rd and 7 now for the Wildcats. It's a big possession here if York can hold them and get the football back before halftime. We've seen that York can strike quickly. We saw that last week against Sequatchie County right before the half. As now McDonald in the shotgun, takes the snap, drops back. Big rush. He gets away from the first guy. Now he's going to have to dump it. Oh, and I think that might be grounding, Gary. He wasn't out of the tackle box and threw that one in the dirt, but he did have number 1 out in the area.
Yeah, Brody Johnson was out there in the area, but he threw it right at the feet of, or at the hands of Cade Brannon, who had fallen down there, and Cade was trying to short arm it in. If he keeps up with that for the interception, York was in real good shape there. Instead, they should get the ball on Livingston's side of the field here.
And kicking against the wind, Drake doesn't need to drop back quite as far, I don't believe. Now, their punter was doing some great punting before the game. We saw him warming up. And there's a snap. He gets this one off, and it's a pretty good one, and that one's going to hit at the 40 and take a Livingston bounce to about the 45-yard line, 45 and a half. And, Gary, that's another one of those maybe Drake should have come up and caught in the air.
Yeah, that ball was kind of turning and caught in the wind, and, Latham was set up about the 45-yard line, Gary, and that ball hit inside the 40-yard line. I don't know how much fault I put on him for not trying to come up and catch that ball, but, it did get a little bit of a bounce, not a big one, but York's in business at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, and they've got 2 minutes and 58 seconds, a little under 3 minutes left to go here in the first half in a tie ball game, 7-7. York will have the ball to start the second half. Lefty comes out quickly to Drake on the left side. He'll get past the first guy, gets up to about the 34-yard line. That should be enough for a first down.
It's going to be a first down, Gary. They're moving the chains, and nice play, a little out pass to Drake there. Tried to give him a block from Miller. Didn't get it, but Drake still made one guy miss, turned it up, got about 11 yards out of it.
So 1st and 10 now for the Dragons, and the clock keeps winding, and York very content to run this one down and put some points on the board before we go in at halftime. York will get the ball to start the second half. They'll hand off to Ben Cooper of the middle, and Ben's caught, and Gary Livingston read that one all the way.
They're lucky they got that handoff, Gary. Austin Reeder was right there had Cooper in his arms as he took the handoff. So York they marked it back at about the line of scrimmage, but looked like he might have lost a little bit on that one. So it's going to be second and long.
Second and long for the Dragons. At Livingston's 34, Lefty will come under center. Got a man in motion. He's going to hand it off to Miller over the left side. Miller is going to be wrapped up and dropped right there, Gary. Not much you gain on that one at all.
No, maybe a yard and a half. So York looking at 3rd and 8 here, and they've called timeout, I believe, Gary.
And we got a timeout on the field. We got 1:53 left to go in the first half in a 7-7 ball game.
He's on the 30. He's on the 20. He's on the 10. It's a touchdown.
There's nothing like football. The lights, the cheers of the crowd, and getting a chance to see our local athletes and kids give it all they've got. Come to a game. Support our local schools. Upper Cumberland Federal Credit Union, a better way to bank. Federally insured by NCUA. Online at ucfcu.org.
And Gary, York takes the time out. We see Aaron Town over here a little bit gimpy over here on the right side. Now, he's usually one of the starting linemen, so that's tough for the Dragons. They're playing without their normal starting fullback and now lineman out.
Yeah, I have seen him over here. Looks like might have a little bit of a limp. I'm not sure what's going on, but he's over here in front of the water cooler as York has a 3rd down and 9, Gary.
Up comes Lefty. Got a man in motion. He'll roll out to his right. Lefty still rolling. Now he's going to tuck and run, and he's going to get a little bit, Gary, but not enough for the first down. Going to bring up 4th and looks like about 5.
Yeah, he got it down to about the 34-yard line, Gary. Got to make. Actually, he didn't get anything out of that, really. So they're looking at 3rd and 4th and 9 from about they're calling it the 32. So it's a long 9 yards for a first down.
And we see Headings checking back in. It's 4th and long for the Dragons. They'd like to keep this drive alive. Don't get the ball back to Livingston even with a little time the way they throw the ball. As Lefty under center, got a man in motion. He fakes it, rolls out to his left. Now he'll throw it across the middle. Got a man out there way too high and too hard. And York turns it over on down. Gary, they're looking for Drake, but Drake had been the Jolly Green Giant to have called that one.
Yeah, that ball kind of sailed on Landrick as he threw it, and that, you're not throwing a lot, it'll do that sometimes. And that one kind of sailed on him and, well over the head of Drake, and York going to turn it over on down.
62 seconds, Gary. If you're Livingston, do you try to do something or you wait to see what happens in the second half?
Well, they've already hit on a long play, Gary, so, yeah, you're trying to do something here. We'll see if York can stop them.
McDonald comes up in the shotgun, got Ayers in his backfield. And York showing blitz, and the snap back as they'll bring it in. McDonald's going to get the pass off tipped, but it's going to be brought down, and that's a big room for the big fullback Ayers, I believe, on the catch, wasn't it, Gary? Or was that Johnson?
That was Johnson on the catch, and that ball tipped by Cole Cooper, Gary, and just enough. He didn't get hardly enough of it, Gary, as it tipped off his fingers, still right to Johnson, who turned it up the field. And with the blitz, they didn't have the extra linebacker out there to cover, so it allowed a big gain. And now we got a holding penalty, it looks like, on Livingston.
So that may be why he got so much yardage, Gary. It always helps when you hold somebody. But that's going to back Livingston up now, Gary, and we see Headings coming in to play some defense for the first time tonight.
Yeah, so he's getting in on some snaps now, it looks like, Gary. And, Livingston backed up here. That's a spot foul, it looks like. So it's going to be about 1st and 16.
So long distance now for Livingston Academy as they have 53 seconds. The clock starting to run again. McDonald in the shotgun, takes the snap. Here comes Lefeu on the rush. Almost picked off. Oh, man. That time Cade Brandon, Gary, I believe that was Brandon, wasn't it?
No, it was
Cooper.
Cole Cooper on the play.
Cooper read that one, and he almost had 6 the other way.
Yeah, he had the play read. Gary just couldn't pull it in, and, the pass was a little high, and I think the quarterback kind of seen it at the last second and was trying to put it to where he couldn't get it, but he almost got it anyhow. And good play by Cooper, and that's what York needs. They need a turnover here, get an interception. They're deep. They would put them deep in Livingston territory with a chance to score before the half's out.
And get the ball to start the second half. As now Livingston's going to hand it off to Ayers. Ayers coming up underneath. He's got up some yardage, and he's going to get back to maybe a little past the original line of scrimmage. And it's going to be about a 7-yard gain, but that's going to bring up now 2nd and about 8 for Livingston Academy, Gary. And they may be content just to let this clock run out and go to halftime knotted at 7.
That was actually Nate Neely on the carry, Gary, but it's going to be 3rd and 8 here. So Livingston don't look like they're going to snap it. We're going to halftime.
So Livingston looks like they're just going to step back and let the time run out. They're going to talk about we're down to 6 seconds, and everybody's headed, looks like, toward the locker room. Now Livingston now will go toward the locker room. We're at halftime of this 1.5. It is all tied up, 7-7. We'll be back in a few minutes.
At Twin Lakes, we believe in innovation and moving our communities and schools forward with technology. We know the importance of community support, and that's why we are honored to sponsor community grants and scholarships, support our local elementary schools, build internship programs for graduating seniors, partner with the Foundation for Rural Service to provide youth tours to Washington, D.C., and so much more. Twin Lakes is proud to live in and support our local community. For more information on Twin Lakes community programs, visit twinlakes.net.
Quality workmanship and exceptional customer service have defined Southeastern Drywall and Construction of Jamestown. From custom-built homes, residential construction, remodeling to commercial construction, Southeastern Drywall and Construction is dedicated to providing the best quality at reasonable prices. We're also looking for good carpenters. Call Southeastern Drywall and Construction at 931-267-5435, a proud supporter of sports and education in our area. A great football program is built on teamwork, and so is a great company like Micro Metals Incorporated of Jamestown. We're inviting you to come join our team. We are now hiring for different positions. We offer several benefits, including medical, dental, vision, and life insurance, short-term disability, 8 paid holidays, paid vacation after 6 months, profit sharing, 401k retirement, and more. Apply in person at 1049 Owens Road, Jamestown, or online at powdermetalparts.net.
Hey y'all, Cherise Sells from Casey's Wholesale in Livingston, where you'll find your next home away from home. We are on the 111 bypass in Livingston, and you can see all our inventory, ranging from smaller campers weighing only 3,200 pounds on up to campers large enough to live in comfortably year-round. With payments starting at only $159 a month, you can take your home on wheels around the country, but the memories you make along the way are priceless. Come see us at Casey's Wholesale Supercenter, where you'll be a happy camper too.
Stock number HI 1054, payment with approved credit. See dealer for details. Right now at Pizza Hut.
Get 2 medium 2-topping Pizza Hut pizzas
For just $5.99 each.
The perfect pair.
At the perfect price.
Order however you want.
Delivery or carry out.
Call or click.
Get one for me.
And me.
Or just you and yours.
Everyone gets what they want.
So get your perfect pair now.
2 medium 2-topping pizzas.
Just $5.99 each.
Because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Ask for this offer. Additional charge for extra cheese, select crust types, and additional toppings. Product availability, prices, participation, delivery areas, and charges, and minimum purchase required for delivery may vary. Delivery charge is not a driver tip.
Back here at halftime. Halftime stats now brought to you by Old Ben Franklin Ford. Folks, remember that Fords are cheaper and cars are cheaper if you buy them out in the country. We'll be back with our halftime stats right after this.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bruce Babb, GM of Old Ben Franklin Ford in Watburg, Tennessee. Doesn't it seem like every radio ad is another car dealership claiming they have the lowest prices, giving you the most for your trades, the best inventory, best service after the sale? It all runs together and is very confusing. At Old Ben Franklin Ford, we don't claim to be the biggest, the best, or perfect, but we work diligently to earn your business. Folks, if you're looking for a new or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, give us a call at 1-877-NEW-FORD or visit us online at oldbenfranklinford.com. If you've been waiting for the right time to purchase, now is the time. 0% on all new 2018 Fords in stock, 0% for 72 months on the F-150. We have the all-new SUV EcoSport, 0 down, $258 a month, and the Ford Fiesta, 0 down, $199 a month. We have a great selection. Come see us in Watburg at Old Ben Franklin Ford or call 877-NEW-FORD. Visit us online, oldbenfranklinford.com. Remember, folks, Fords are cheaper out in the country.
Back here at halftime, and they're honoring the Fentress County Crush, who was the Eastern Division champions in junior high football this year, and they also were runners-up in the championship. They lost to DeKalb County 14-8, and they finished runners-up in the actual division playoffs, but they were the Eastern Division champions. Gary, it's time now for the Old Ben Franklin halftime stats. Give us our stats for the first half.
Well, obviously on the scoreboard it's 7-7, Gary, but for York in the first half, they had 9 first downs, 25 carries for 115 yards, had 50 yards passing, 3 completions on 6 attempts. All in all, 31 offensive plays, 165 yards. For Livingston, they had 5 first downs. They had 5 carries for 8 yards, Gary. They're 11 of 18 through the air for 155 yards, so they've had 23 plays for 163 yards. Everything pretty even. Livingston has the only 2 penalties in the game, 2 penalties for 20 yards. York winning time of possession by about 5.5 minutes in the first half. They're 14-46 to 9-14 for Livingston. Individually for York, Thomas Miller has 10 carries for 67 yards and the York touchdown. Cole Cooper, 5 for 23. Ben Cooper, 4 for 10. Landrick Lefew had 5 carries for 8 yards, and Headings had a carry, and don't like we have that one on here, Gary. Through the air, Lefew, 3 of 6 for 50 yards, and all 3 of those caught by Drake. Drake, 3 catches for 50 yards. For Livingston Academy, Michael Ayers, 3 carries, 9 yards. Nate Neely, 1 for 5. And Will McDonald actually took a sack, so he has 1 carry for -6. McDonald, 11 of 18 through the air, 155 yards from the touchdown. He's completed 4 to Brody Johnson for 14 yards, 2 to Michael Ayers for 42 yards, 2 to Will Sims for 24 yards, 2 to Aubrey Hollers for 18 yards, and 1 to Wesley Smith for 57 yards. And the scoring for Livingston, it was a 57-yard pass from Will McDonald to Wesley Smith, 7:28 in the second quarter, and it was 7-0. That drive, 2 plays, 62 yards, took 47 seconds. York comes back at the 4:13 mark. It's Thomas Miller from 26 yards out. Johan West with the kick. 7 plays, 69 yards, 3 minutes and 10 seconds, and it's 7-7 at halftime, Gary.
Gary, it's what we said before the game started. It's run versus pass.
It really is, and, it's pretty even right now, Gary. Both teams have made stops, and both teams have been able to put together a drive, and So, who can make stops in the second half, but probably more importantly, keep on making the stops, but who can score points?
And, of course, as we said, York with 115 yards on the ground, while Livingston had, let's see, what they have through the air. They had 155 through the air. So they pretty much counteract each other, run versus pass.
Yeah, the difference, York strove for a little more than Livingston has ran for. So, it makes 2-yard difference in total yardage here. First downs are about even. Time of possession, we thought York would control time of possession, and they certainly have through the first half. It's going just the way we probably thought it would go, Gary. It's a tight ball game.
You couldn't script it much better, folks. It's a 7-7 game here at halftime. Our halftime stats brought to you by Old Ben Franklin Ford. Don't forget, folks, Fords are cheaper out in the country. We're going to take a timeout, and then we'll be back at the start of the second half and bring you the second half of this game. It's tied 7-7 at halftime. Back in just a few minutes. And back here at York, we're getting set for the second half to get underway. Gary, we got a 7-7 ball game. It's the run versus the pass.
Yeah, it is. And, York gets the ball to start the second half, Gary. Be great if they get a good kickoff return, put them in good position, and move the ball down the field and get points out of this, Gary, and try to take some control of the game early in the second half.
Gary, it was a defensive battle here through the first half as both teams able to shut the other team down, but Livingston, they did hit on one big strike, and then York with a long run by Miller. I mean, it was a long pass versus a long run. It was just what this ball game we had figured was going to be like.
Yeah, it really is. And, both teams have moved the ball. They just haven't been able to sustain a drive, Gary. And, both teams over 150 yards, over 160 yards offense in the first half. They both moved the ball at times. They just haven't been able to put several plays together except for, when they hit on a couple of long ones. And it'd be important York be able to move the ball here, get a drive going.
And it would be a great start if they get a good return. But, Gary, you're going to have to drop back deep. The kicker for Livingston's got a good foot, and that wind behind him, wind's still good, pretty brisk blowing from left to right. And York's going to be going from left or from right to left, I should say, for us. If you're looking on the camera, I was playing it for the camera, but we're looking at it from right to left. If you're looking at the camera, it's from left to right.
Yeah, so as you see it on TV, it'll be left to right. So Livingston will have the wind in the third quarter, and if you watch this kickoff, it'll be a deep kickoff because the wind's blowing pretty good, and it's helping aid the flight of the ball. And so York needs a good return because this will be a deep kickoff.
And this is going to give York, that'll put the wind at York's back in the second or in the fourth quarter, Gary, and that could be big if it comes down to like last week with field goal attempts.
Yeah, it could, and it'll be a big deal. You want the win, especially on a night like this, at your back in the fourth quarter.
And there's the kick's going to sail through the end zone. That's just what we figured, Gary. It was going to be a deep one, and he puts it through the back of the end zone, and it'll be York first and 10, their own 20.
Yeah, a good deep kickoff. York just let it go between the two deep men there, and it rolls through the back of the end zone. So York going to have it first and 10 from the 20 here to start the second half.
And, Gary, York needs to come out here and just kind of assert their dominance here and just push the ball and move the ball up the field.
Yeah, they do. And, I would expect you got to see some Josiah Headings here in the second half. He really did change the dynamic of the game, Gary. And, you want to put him out there and let him carry a few.
But you got Cooper in the backfield right now, Ben Cooper, along with Miller, that's Miller Cooper, Cooper down the sideline. Cooper going to get all the way up to the 48-yard line, and Cole Cooper that time, Gary, got the edge again, and once he's been able to get the edge, he's been able to outrun a lot of these Wildcats.
Yeah, he has, and they set it up good, Gary, brought him around the end, gave him the ball, and he ran it wide. York was able to seal the corner and got him out there, and he goes for 26 yards out to the 46-yard line.
So it's first and 10 now for the Dragons as they are in business on a big run by the Cole train, and it's going to be first and 10 Dragons as up will come Lefevue. He's got Ben Cooper in the backfield. Miller on the right, and Miller's going to be in motion. They're going to hand it off to Miller, and he's going to try to get the outside. He's got a man blocking out in front of him. Now cuts back inside and runs right into a Wildcat, but pushes forward, and he's going to get about to the 48 of Livingston Academy.
They're going to mark him at the 49, Gary, so he has moved it into Livingston territory, about 5 yards on that carry, but he had Bryce Slavin out there in front of him and pulled off the block. If he could run with the block, Bryce ran for another 5 yards before he found anybody to hit, so it could have been a big play there, and instead, get about 5, still a good play, got him in second and short.
Second and short for York as they'll fake the handoff. Now they go right up the middle to Cooper, and Cooper pushes his way up just shy of the 45 of Livingston Academy.
They're going to mark him right at the 45, Gary, and this will be a big 3rd and 2 for York here.
We've seen York go for it on a 4th down, Gary, when it was 4th and 2 from their own 24. So they're pretty much in 4-down territory.
Yeah, you do, and this is probably a little closer to a yard, maybe a little over a yard here, and they brought Josiah in, a big 3rd down play for York.
York with Josiah Headings in the ball game now, and they got a man in motion. They're going to hand off Cooper behind Headings, and he's going to open up a hole all the way to 40, Gary, and that time Headings just led the way, and that's a big difference when you need a couple of yards when you got a big guy running in front of you.
Yeah, you do, and, he didn't really have anybody to block, Gary. He just ran through the hole, and Cooper followed him, got about 6 yards and a 1st down.
So the Dragons 1st and 10 on the Wildcat 40. We got a tie ball game, 10-10 to go in the 3rd quarter, and it's 7-7. York with the first possession of the second half. Up comes Lefeview. Got a man in motion. Going to hand off to Miller. Cooper breaks through the middle. Cooper still on his feet. Breaks another tackle all the way down to the 8-yard line before he's brought down. And a good run by the Coal Train. And it's going to be 1st and goal for the Dragons, Gary. And that's just what York needs.
That was some great blocking at the line of scrimmage, Gary. You had the offensive line for York, and in particular, Edward Stockton, number 62, got a good kick-out block to the right. I didn't see who got the one to the left, but he allowed Cooper to get through the line of scrimmage, and then had his backs in front of him blocking, and big run for York, and they're 1st and goal here.
Dragons back in business now, 1st and goal from the 8. They got a man in motion. That's Cooper. He's going to get the football. He goes straight ahead, and he's going to pull his way down. They're going to mark him just shy of the goal line, I believe, Gary.
Inside the 1-yard line, Gary. So he ran of 7, just about got it in. Good run by Cole Cooper there, and this is set up now. They're right on the nose of the goal line, Gary. So I look for Lefeview to keep the ball here.
That's what I started saying.
This will be Landry probably looking for a hole to get this in the end zone.
Lefeview with the quarterback keeper, and he does. He goes ahead, and they got a flag on Gary. They're going to get a motion on the Dragons.
Yeah, that's going to be false start. They moved for the snap, and going to back them up 5 yards here, so it'll be second and goal from the 6, Gary.
So now the Dragons got 2nd and goal, and we'll see what the Dragons do here. Now, this is where they like to run that little play to Daedric Phillips coming out of that tight end spot, Gary. They like to just spring him up in the middle and pop that little quick pass to him. We'll see if they might go for that here as they'll come up, and it's going to be 2nd and goal from the 6. Got a man in motion. They're going to hand off to Cooper, though. Cooper going straight ahead into the end zone we got a flag on the play, and that may back York up again. And one of the Livingston players coming up a little jaw in there. They're going to call a crack block on York. That's going to back them up even further.
Yeah, that's going to go against number 77, Thomas Cooper, and they hit him with the flag when they threw it, Gary, and going to get him for a crackback block, and that'll be a 15-yarder, so that'll probably move it all the way out to about the 21-yard line.
So now we'll see where they spot it, and York now is going to have it 2nd and goal from right out. They're going to be right on the 20-yard line, so York with a 2nd and goal from the 20.
This is, going backwards here. York needs a couple of positive plays. A great run by Cooper. He got in the end zone, but you can't have the illegal block, and that's a personal foul, 15-yard variety.
So now up will come the Dragons. Second and goal from the 20. They got Miller in motion. Miller trying to bounce outside. He's got some room. Miller headed to the sideline, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds. And he's going to get down, I believe, Gary, to looks like about maybe the 6-yard line.
Actually, no, he is actually going to be about the 12-yard line, I think, Gary. No, he's going to be, he got down inside the 10.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so he got the corner and turned it up the field, got about 14 yards out of that.
They're actually going to mark him, I believe, on the 5, aren't they, Gary? Is that the 5 he's on now?
Yeah, it's in between. It's close to the 5, so 3rd and goal for York.
3rd and goal for York. They got 2 more downs to get the touchdown. They're going to hand it off to Cooper. Cooper over the right side. Cooper bangs ahead. Cooper's in for the touchdown, Dragons.
Nice run by Cole Cooper. He turned that up the field and, just got it around the corner, tumbled into the end zone.
And, Gary, that was good job facing adversity with a couple of penalties. They were able to get that and stick it in, even though it was 2nd and 20, or 2nd and goal from the 20. As now the extra point is up. The extra point is good. We've got 7:50 to go in the 3rd. York takes a 14-7 lead.
Whether you're competing on the athletic field or working hard in the classroom, remember you have the support of First Volunteer Bank, the bank with personality. We're behind you 100% of the way. Good luck to all the area teams. Play tough and play fair. And remember, when it comes to helping you with your banking needs, we're First Volunteer Bank, the bank with personality. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And now over and over, it's First Volunteer for you.
Well, Gary, the York Dragons did just what the doctor ordered. They marched down the field 80 yards, get the touchdown, and even though they got a couple of penalties, they were able to make up for it and get the touchdown. That's what York really needed.
Yeah, they did, and they took off about a little over 4 minutes to do it, and a good drive for York. Moved it right down the field, and they displayed a little. They took control of the line of scrimmage, Gary, on that drive, and that's probably the first time tonight that's happened. So, good job by York. Great running, great physical offensive line play that got all the kick-out blocks, and York able to turn that into 7 points.
Matt Neely and number 18, Will McDonald, the quarterback, back deep. And this is going to be a short kick. It's going to drop somewhere in between, and it's going to take a little bit of a bounce. And the Dragons may have it. They do. What a play there, I believe, by Johan. No, that's not Johan West, but number 25, Gary, come up with a big play.
Yeah, that is actually Zach Gibson who come up with the recovery. But you could see that happening, Gary. That kick fell right where there was not a Livingston player. They were slow to react, and York down to cover the kick, and York's going to be in business here at the 30-yard line.
And, Gary, it looked like the up men for Livingston all broke to the middle of the field, and the ball just kind of landed in there in no man's land.
Well, they set up the return, but somebody forgot to come cover the ball and allowed York to get on that. What a great kick by West, and a good recovery by Zach Gibson.
Good hustle by Gibson, and now the Dragons are in business. As this time Cooper going to get the ball, and he's going to get up over the 30 and then be driven back. But, Gary, that time Livingston had that one scouted well.
Yeah, he did, and, they tried to run that off over the right side, Gary, and just nowhere to run. York bottled it up good and going to make it 2nd and 10.
And that was Dylan Cantrell, number 20, that come up and made the stop. We got 7:23 left to go here in quarter number 3. York with a second and about 9 3/4. As they got about a quarter of a yard on that one. Now they got Miller in motion. It's going to be Lefevue. Lefevue with the keeper. Lefevue makes a neat move, but we're going to get a flag on the field, Gary. And I believe they're going to get York for a hold. He almost faked everybody out with that one, as he looked like he was going to make the pitch and then kind of took it around his back.
Yeah, he did. Faked the pitch and turned it up the field, and it's going to be holding against York. But first time tonight we've really seen the option, Gary, and they ran it to the far side of the field here, and got about 5 yards, but the holding's going to back it up to about the 38-yard line. It'll be second and about 18 from the 38 now, Gary.
Hey, I'll tell you what, folks, my hay fever's getting me tonight. I'll admit, maybe we'll get some frost this weekend and say goodbye to the ragweed. But anyway, here come the Dragons up. They're going to hand it off to Cooper on the right side. Cooper's going to come around, got some room, cuts back inside all the way up to the 31-yard line, and gets about back to the original line of scrimmage, Gary, but it's going to be 3rd and long for the Dragons.
Yeah, he got it up to about the 31. It's going to be 3rd and 11 here, Gary, and a big play for York. And, you know, they played Josiah pretty selectively, but this might be a play, you know, you might have brought him in, especially if, you know, you can give the look of run and then do whatever you want out of the formation. But they have been effective bringing the ball up the middle when he's been in the game.
So now up will come left. You've got a 3rd and 11. He's got a man in motion. He's going to hand off to Miller. Miller's hit it immediately and driven back the 30.5-yard line, Gary. He never got – if he got anything, it was very little.
He got very little. Cole Spears met him in the hole, Gary, number 68, and just drove him backwards. So
and he comes up a little bit gimpy.
Yeah, he's favoring that left leg a little bit, it looks like. So it's going to be 4th down here, and York going to line up to go for it.
Well, at this point, Gary, punt here, probably York's not going to gain much over what they would if they run the ball.
No, they're not. And, you know, your 31-yard line, it's 4-down territory for York.
So up will come the Dragons. They've got a 4th and 11 as Lefty drops back. He's going to try to air one out. Got a man out there going deep, and did he get it? No, incomplete. Just through the hands of the receiver, Gary. And I believe that was Drake out there, but Drake couldn't hang on.
Yeah, they ran 2 or 3 into the pattern that time. They ran Miller off to the right side, but they sent Cole Cooper and Drake down the sideline, and ball underthrown just a little, Gary, and Drake tried to come back and come up short, but York turns it over on downs for the 3rd time tonight, and Livingston going to take over right short of the 31-yard line.
York squandered a golden opportunity there to take a 2-touchdown lead.
Yeah, they did, and, you know, got that kickoff, got the turnover on the kick. Great kick by Johan West, just wasn't able to do anything with it.
Now McDonald brings his group up, and he's in the shotgun, takes a snap. He's going to hand it off up the middle. That's Neely on the run. Neely gets through one tackle, still on his feet. Going to pick up about 14 before he's brought down, Gary, and that's just hard running from Neely.
Yeah, it is, and moved it out to almost the 44-yard line. Yeah, gain of almost 14 on the play, and 1st down for Livingston, and the longest run of the night for them, Gary.
And, Gary, that's more than they had combined, I believe, in the first half.
Yeah, they only had 8 yards rushing, so they got more on that play than they've had in the game.
So now up comes Livingston with a 1st and 10 at their own 44-yard line. York on top, 14-7. McDonald calling out the plays. Got 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Looks like Neely's still in the backfield. Haven't seen Ayers in a while as a snap back, and he'll drop back, rolling. He's going to throw a little one out to Ayers, and Ayers going to get it, and he's going to get about 3 yards, Gary. Good job by West to come up and play that one well, as York read that one pretty good.
Yeah, you know, he was in the block and kindly released. They flipped him the ball out there. York converged on it quickly. He gets about 3 yards. Going to be 2nd and 7.
So York now needs to stop here. They're up with 4:11 left to go in the 3rd quarter, 14-7. This is the annual rivalry game, folks. This one, I don't care if both teams come in here with perfect records, one with perfect record and one with a imperfect record, they would still be in a dogfight, and that's what we're in here tonight. As this one, a good old-fashioned slobber knocker, as up will come the quarterback, McDonald. He gets the snap. He's rolling. Ben Cooper chasing him. Throws down there. Got a man out. Oh, and he dropped it, Gary. He couldn't have thrown that one better. He hit the guy in stride, and he dropped it.
Yeah, that's number 10, Will Sims, who doesn't come up with it. And, you know, he hit him right on the money. Being pressured by Ben Cooper, was able to spin away from the pressure long enough to release the ball. And, you know, perfect pass, break for York that he didn't catch it.
Yeah, and Sims come up lame after that as well, so he has to go out of the game, and we'll see what that does as now McDonald gets the signal.
Yeah, they bring in number 16, Raven Carpenter, to be the 4th wide receiver out of this set, Gary.
Livingston with a bunch of receivers. McDonald in the shotgun. Gets the snap, drops back, getting a little bit of pressure. Going to throw that one out. Overthrow. Good job that time, Gary, by big number 77 for York. He didn't get to him, but he raised his hands up, made him overthrow the ball.
Yeah, he did, and that pass intended for Aubrey Hollers. Good coverage by Thomas Miller out there as well. Thomas had it covered, Gary, and, falls incomplete, and York getting their defense off the field here. It's 4th down. Livingston lined up the punt. The punt will be Joseph Dees, number 85 for Livingston.
And back deep is Lathan Drake, and he's got a good leg. There's another bad snap and a big rush and a flag on the field. We'll see if that's a penalty against Livingston. Gary will do this and again as they down it right about the 20-yard line. Now Drake let that one hit again, and it took a little bit of a York bounce, so we'll see what they call here. But I believe it was motion on the outside guy here by Livingston Academy.
He's calling false start, so they will have to re-kick this. That should have been blown dead, I would have thought. So
I would have thought so too, but
if I believe it was illegal procedures, what it should be, and they're going to decline it, and so York's going to take over at the 20-yard line.
So York going to just take the football as they lead it 14-7. Gary, would you have made him kick it again?
Kind of hard to say that. He punted twice in the first half and averaged 32 yards a punt, Gary. So that one goes for about it went for about 37 yards. So you could have possibly made him kick it again, but he's kicking with the wind, so he could have kicked it even further. So probably a smart play by York to take over at the 20.
The only thing that might have been a factor is for a couple of times they've had some really bad snaps, and that was another one. And their kickers just do an outstanding job making the play.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to rush it and see if you could block it, then, yeah, you make them re-kick.
And now you're going to hand off to Miller, and Miller's wrapped up immediately, Gary, as that Cooper, Ben Cooper guy from the fullback position, he got hit pretty much as quick as he got the ball.
Yeah, we've seen Livingston make an adjustment, Gary, and they're clogging up the line of scrimmage again. York probably going to have to run Headings out there if he's available for a couple of plays and, try to, do something with the line of scrimmage to open up some options for the York offense.
So now up will come Lefevue. Got it 2nd and long. He'll hand it off to Cooper. Cooper right side breaks through the first line. He's still on his feet. Rumbles all the way up to the 36-yard line. Good job by the Cole train that time to follow his blockers.
Yeah, actually Bryce Slavin had a good block there, and he was running in front of him, didn't have anybody to hit, Gary, and Cooper just got in behind him, turned it up there for about 15 yards and a first down.
And I think Bryce is in for talent, isn't he, Gary? I believe he's come in. He's not a normal starter for the Dragons on the line.
Yeah, he's in there, though, and a good block that time by Bryce Slavin.
This time we're going to hand it off up the middle, and that one's going for a little bit as Cooper bangs straight ahead, Gary. And it's been just tough sledding for Ben Cooper.
Yeah, they have done a good job. They have put an extra defender up there in that line, Gary, and York's having trouble getting them all blocked, and it's making it hard to run it either through that A gap between the center and the guard or the B gap between the guard and the tackle. And, it's just been tough to get any yards. York getting a couple at a time, but generally not more than that.
But chewing up the clock as we're down there 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. This time Cooper will get it. Cooper waits, gets a little bit of a opening and squirts through to about the 44-yard line before he's brought down.
And it's going to make it manageable, Gary. It'll be about 3rd and a little over 2 here. So opportunity for York to pick up the first down.
And we see Headings coming back in, Gary. He's come in now. He's not run the ball often, but he has been out there leading the blocking.
Yeah, he has. And, he makes what he does is because of his size and his strength, it takes one, sometimes two of those interior defenders to account for him, and it opens up some running lanes for York.
Up will come Lefevue. He's got a man in motion. He's going to hand it straight ahead to Josiah, and he's going to be real close to the first down, Gary. I think he they're giving him they're giving him a spot. They're going to say he got it, but, boy, the one official from the far side come in was giving a terrible spot. I thought you were supposed to run horizontally, not vertically up there.
Well, he looked like he was at the 47-yard line and ran to meet the official from the other side at the 46, I guess, what he ended up doing. But it wasn't enough for a York first down, and so a good piece of running by Josiah Headings there, and York moving it out near midfield, Gary.
And Josiah's back in the backfield now as York has it 1st and 10. Got a man in motion now, quick out, and it's batted up in the air, and York that was intercepted. Great play by the big guy, number 54. He's still on his feet. He's finally going to be down as he's going to get a horse collar on that one too, I believe, Gary. But the ball come out at the end. All kinds of things going on in this one.
Yeah, I think, that was number 54, I think, for Livingston. That's Dustin Parrish who comes up with the ball at the end, and I believe Headings, when he's taking him down, grabbed him by the back of the shoulder pad, Gary, and that's probably going to be a horse collar tackle.
And we'll see what the call is. It's going to be a personal foul, horse collar against York. And it'll be first down, Livingston Academy. And Livingston in business, Gary. That time, one of the York linemen actually had the ball when it was batted up in the air, but the number 54 took it away from him.
Yeah, actually, I didn't see who the York player was. I want to say it was either Bryce Slavin or Thomas Cooper who had it in their hands. And first of all, it was number 55, Austin Reeder, who had it, and it bounced out of his hands into the hands of Parrish, who had some running room, and Headings had to take him down, and unfortunately grabbed a hold of the back of the shoulder pad when he did and pulled him down. So going to be Livingston ball near the 20-yard line. Gary.
1st and 10 right at York's 20 as McDonald back in the shotgun. He's got Neely back there with him. Takes a snap, looking. He's going to throw toward the corner. He's got a man out there who caught it, and it's going to be in for the touchdown, but I believe they're going to call that one back, Gary. Well, I guess they may have a late hit on Lefeview, but that's going to be a touchdown, Livingston Academy, and that's going to be a point away from tying this one up.
I didn't see the end of that, but that is a horrible call if they call that, because Landrick had him wrapped up as he threw the ball. I was surprised he got it out there, but he did, and they've completed it for the touchdown right now. So
let's see if it stands, and the call. We're waiting on it. A personal foul, roughing the passer, York. That's going to be a touchdown, and that one, I believe, Gary, will go on the kickoff.
Yeah, it will. So they'll kick off from the York 45-yard line. So the touchdown, the extra point pending. It'll be a tie game, Gary.
25 seconds left to go here in the third quarter, and Livingston's Academy's number 8 going back to tie this one up. Or number 9, T. Beatty. T. Beatty, the left-footed kicker, will try to tie this game. And the snap is down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. Livingston Academy ties it up with 25 seconds left to go in the third. It's 14-14. Lefty's going to keep it. It's going to be. He gets away from one tackle. Lefty's still running. Cuts back up. Lefty's still on his feet. Lefty's still on his feet. He's down the sideline. He's headed for pay there. Touchdown, Dragons!
Hello, everyone. This is John Robbins on behalf of State Representative John Mark Wendell, wishing the York Dragons many touchdowns and many wins during the 2018 football season. John Mark is happy to be a sponsor of the play-by-play broadcast and hopes that you enjoy each and every game. Again, on behalf of Representative John Mark Wendell, this is John Robbins saying, best of luck, Dragons.
Well, Gary, the turnover, Livingston capitalizes on it, and now they have tied this ball game, and York's going to get the football with 25 seconds left to go here, and it's going to be kicked off from the 45-yard line. Watch out for Livingston onside kick.
Yeah, you got to cover the onside kick here. You got to be aware of it. I see what Livingston do. It's probably worth trying, Gary. It's not all that big of a deal, and if you kick it out of the end zone, which is what you're going to do if you kick off normally, that's going to put it on the 20-yard line. And we'll see what Livingston's got in mind here.
And T. Beatty is going to kick it off. And Coach Derwin Wright said during the coach's interview this week, he's one of the best kickers he's seen. And, no, he's going to kick it deep, Gary, and that's going to sail back and into the end zone. So it goes out of the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 Dragons on their own 20-yard line. And, Gary, now it's a situation where York's got to regroup.
Yeah, they do. You know, that was a big turnover there. That ball batted and hit a couple of people and ended up in the Livingston players' hands. And so York got to regroup here and get the ball moving, move it down the field almost to the end of the third quarter here. So get a drive going, take up some time in the fourth quarter and put it in the end zone.
Probably about time for one more play here in the third quarter. York will have it 1st and 10 at their own 20. Livingston Academy got the turnover, and a 20-yard pass play ties this ball game. As now York going to hand it off to Cooper. Cooper trying to get outside, nowhere to go this time. Gets up maybe a yard, Gary, before he's brought down.
Maybe one, and so it'll be 2nd and 9 as the third quarter comes to an end.
We're through 3 of them, and it's nothing settled here. It's 14-14, headed into the final frame.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. When you schedule your fall maintenance with Condition Heating and Cooling, they will clean, calibrate, test, and ensure your heating system is in proper working order. Let them find and correct issues before they become major problems. Or you can take advantage of discounts up to $1,000 on new energy-saving American Standard heating and air conditioning units. See dealer for details. Offer won't last long, so call to schedule your appointment today.
Call 879-5909. Condition Heating and Cooling.
Over 80% of business owners say loyal customers are the keys to a successful business. At Hall Family Pharmacy, we appreciate our loyal customers and want to thank you by offering you a copay pass. With the Hall Family Pharmacy Customer Loyalty Program, come by the pharmacy and pick up a punch card. Every time you fill a prescription, you will get a punch on the card. When the card is full, bring it in and get your copay pass. It's a simple way for us to say thank you for your business. So stop by Hall Family Pharmacy to get your Customer Loyalty Program punch card today.
Final frame of this one, and Gary, York and Livingston both having a couple of miscues. York didn't capitalize on theirs. Livingston did.
Yeah, they did, and, you know, York got the onside kick recovery, wasn't able to move it, and then Livingston with the interception was able to put it in the end zone, and we're tied after 3 quarters. It's going to be a great fourth quarter of football, Gary.
Just batten down the hatches, folks. This one's going to be a good one as coming up now, Lefeview with a man out wide. He's got Headings in the backfield. Got in motion, Lathan Drake now rolling out his Lefeview. Lefeview going to keep it himself, and Lefeview gets past one man still on his feet, but he's going to be pushed out of bounds, Gary. Maybe got a couple of yards, but it's going to be 3rd down and about 6.
Yeah, actually, they're going to call it out to about the 25-yard line, Gary, so this will be 3rd and 5. He got about 4 on that one.
So now it'll be 3rd and 5 for the Dragons, and this is a situation, Gary, they need to get the first down. You don't want to have to go for it on 4th down in the 4th quarter.
No, you don't. It's, you know, you're deep in your own territory, too. So want to move this out, get the first down here, and keep the sticks moving.
Up come the Dragons. Lefeview under center. Got a man in motion. He hands it to Cooper, and Cooper going to make that at Miller. Miller going to dive just enough for the first down, Gary. Great play by Miller. He was tripped up but dove and got the first down.
Yeah, and they're marking it right over the 30-yard line. So first down, York. A good job by Miller to get those tough last couple of yards and move the sticks.
Thomas Miller would not be denied, and the Dragons got it 1st and 10 at their own 30. Tie ball game with 11.5 minutes left to go in regulation. And it's a 14-14 game. Lefeview will come up under center. Ben Cooper in the backfield now. As Lefeview got a man in motion. He's going to hand it off to Cooper again. Miller again. Miller going to drive ahead. He's going to pick up about 4, Gary.
Yeah, good job by Miller. Moved it up, got about 3.5, 4 yards out of that, and you know, keeping it moving, Gary. That's what you want to do at this point.
Good job by the Wildcats. Mitchell Ayers to come up and stop that one. He was able to stop it up before Miller could get any farther, but it's now going to be 2nd and 6 for the Dragons. Dragons will come up. Back under center goes Lefeview. Lefeview got a man in motion in Miller. This time he's going to hand it off to Cooper, but I believe Drake took off a little early, Gary.
Yeah, he did, and they've thrown the flag on him. It's going to be
No encroachment against the defense.
Yeah, the defense pulled offside, so it's going to be 5-yard penalty, going to be 2nd and 1 here, Gary.
And there's one of those hallmark moments, folks, when you care to give the very best. York just got a hallmark moment and 5 freebies, and that makes it 2nd and 1 and a lot better odds.
Yeah, it does, and 2nd and short opens the playbook a little bit too here, Gary.
So the Dragons come up now with 2nd and about 1.5 as they got under center goes Lefevue. Lefevue going to roll out. He's going to pitch it to Miller. Miller's up about midfield, and he's going to be driven out at about the 49-yard line. And, Gary, that was the option working at its best right there.
Yeah, it was, and perfectly played. Good pitch by Lefevue out to Miller. Miller had plenty of room, turned up the field, got plenty of yardage for the first down, and actually moved this into Livingston territory at the 48-yard line.
And more importantly, keeps that clock ticking too, Gary.
Yeah, it does. Keeps it moving, and York on the move here, and about 10 minutes to go, and this is exactly what you wanted.
Up will come Lefevue. Lefevue got Cooper in motion. Now Cole Cooper over the right side pushes it about to the 46. We're going to have a flag on that one, Gary. May have a face mask on that one like you were indicating. I think that may be a face mask, and that'd be a big break for the Dragons again.
Yeah, that was definitely a face mask. It's just a matter of which one now. So we'll see what they call. And he is actually calling the 5-yarder, not the 15. So they'll get 5 yards on the end of that. Go and move it down here and make it 2nd and short.
So the Dragons with an opportunity here to get even closer, as now they've got it. Well, actually, it's going to be 1st down, and they're going to say 1st down and 4. So they give them the penalty, and they get the down as well. So York now with a 1st and 4. Got Cooper in motion. They'll fake it. Cooper now Lefevue trying to keep it. He's going to bounce back inside, and he's going to be wrestled down. And, Gary, that time Livingston read that one well, and coming in, big 56, finished it up. But you got to give that one to Mitchell Ayers right there.
Yeah, he turned it back in. Jake Oliver finished it off, and going to be 2nd down for York here, it looks like, on about the 41-yard line. Going to be 2nd and about 4 is what they're calling it, and, no gain on that one.
So 2nd and 4, and now the Dragons with 9:25 bring it up. Lefevue under center. Lefevue takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He's rolling. He's got a man out there. Got quick. Throw out to Drake. Drake's going to haul it in and take it down to about the 22-yard line. Good catch by Lathan Drake.
Yeah, nice play, nice execution. Got about 18 yards on it, Gary, and York moving it down the field here.
And they're going to have it 1st and 10 just outside the red zone as it's going to be at the 21-yard line. And, Gary, that was a bullet from Lefevue. That's actually hit Drake, and Drake bobbled it a bit, but able to bring it in and get the catch.
Yeah, he was. And good catch by Drake to pull it in, turn it up the field, get a couple extra yards, Gary.
Lefevue waiting on the snap, gets the snap, hands it off to Cooper in the middle. Ben Cooper breaks free. He's headed toward the end zone. Can he get there? Yes, he does. Touchdown, Dragons!
Great run by Ben Cooper, Gary. He finally got loose on one, broke through the line of scrimmage, and was able to outrun the rest of the defenders to the corner of the end zone for the touchdown.
So the Dragons now take a 20-14 lead, and they'll have the extra point attempt here by Johan West. York trying to take the lead by a touchdown and an extra point if they can get it here. West for the kick. It's down, it's up. It is good with 8:43 to go in the game. York leads it 21-14.
A great football program is built on teamwork, and so is a great company like Micro Metals Incorporated of Jamestown. We're inviting you to come join our team. We are now hiring for different positions. We offer several benefits, including medical, dental, vision, and life insurance, short-term disability, 8 paid holidays, paid vacation after 6 months, profit sharing, 401k retirement, and more. Apply in person at 1049 Owens Road, Jamestown, or online at powdermetalparts.net.
Another big run, this time by Ben Cooper, and York is now back in the lead, and now we got to see what the defense can do against this Livingston aerial attack.
Yeah, York got to come up with another stop here, on defense. you're back in the lead again, and where you want to be. You get a stop, get the ball. You know, you had one chance to take control of the game and wasn't able to do it. You got another chance now, but you got to get a good kickoff here, stop on defense, and get the ball back for your offense.
Now, win behind West, he can get a good one here, Gary. It could really put Livingston back deep, and we'll see what he does here. 8:43 left to go in regulation, and it's a touchdown lead for the Dragons here in the fourth quarter. York with a lot of crowd over there, Don. They are really making some noise now.
Yeah, the student sections get up on their feet, bouncing around, and York trying to build the momentum and make a stop here, Gary.
And that's short, a little bit short. Kick taken by the back man. He gets through the first line. He's still on his feet. Gets a great return up to the 42-yard line. And, Gary, that is what you didn't want to allow. As Neely got a big return on that one.
Yeah, he did. Able to get through the first line, turned it up the field, Gary, and brought it out to over the 40-yard line, or almost, the 42-yard line. So Livingston going to start with excellent field position.
Gary, it's one of those things where the team that makes the least mistakes and maybe has the ball last that comes up with. Both teams have had one mistake, and we'll see what happens the rest of the way out as Livingston has 8:36 to try to tie this game up. Back in the shotgun now, York showing blitz. Dropping back is Lefevue. In the shotgun, McDonald takes a snap, hands it off, and that is Ayers. And Ayers going to get maybe a yard, Gary.
Yeah, not much running there. York clogged it up pretty good in the middle and no place to run. Brought him down the gain of they're giving him about 3 yards on that. So
a lot better run than I thought.
Yeah, so it's going to be 2nd and 7.
We're under the 8-minute mark, and the Wildcats have it 2nd and 7 at their own 45-yard line. They need 55 yards and a touchdown to tie this one up. And with 8 minutes exactly left to go, they've got plenty of time to do it. York needing to stop as back goes McDonald. He's got 2 to the right, 2 to the left. Ayers in the backfield. He's going to hand it off to Ayers again. Ayers got some running room this time. Ayers got a blocker out in front of him. He's up to midfield. He's going to be pushed out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. Going to be short of the first down, Gary, but it's going to be 3rd and really manageable.
Yeah, able to get past Ben Cooper, who was charging in on the blitz, and once he got past that, was able to get to the corner. Cole Cooper, Landrick Lefevue came and cleaned it up, but not before he got about 5 more yards, and it's a 3rd and 2 situation for Livingston.
Livingston here in York territory now at the 49-yard line. York could really use a stop here. Livingston trying to get back to tied in this ball game. They trail by 7 with 7:10 left to go in the game. Up will come the Wildcats. And now we're seeing a different package from the Wildcats. They got their jumbo package in there now. They'll take the snap, hand it off to Neely, and Neely's got the first down and more. Neely's up to the 35. Neely's still on his feet. He's headed down the sideline. One man to beat. Neely's in the end zone for a touchdown, Wildcats. And, Gary, that's what you didn't want to see is the Wildcats getting the running game going.
No, you didn't. And they brought in, like you said, a couple extra blockers, put them in the backfield, and just handed it to Neely, and he turns it over to the left side off the tackle and gets the corner. C.J. Wall never did get in a good angle, and Miller just couldn't get there, and he walks in for the touchdown run, and so Livingston an extra point away from tying this up again.
Folks, we said it may be the person or the team that has the ball last in this game, and we'll see as T. Beatty tries to tie it here. It's 21-20 right now as Livingston trying the extra point for the tie. It's short hopped and kicked, and it is good. Barely good, but it's good, and we got 6:47 to go. It's nothing decided, 21-21.
Jamestown Regional has always been committed to providing the highest quality of patient care. We work hard every day to contribute to the health of our patients and to the well-being of our community by providing many jobs and services. Now we are proud to be serving our community once again as Jamestown Regional Medical Center. JRMC, a Renova Health company, will continue the tradition of providing quality care, comprehensive services, and an experienced team of physicians and caregivers.
Well, Gary, now the Dragons got to get ready. They're going to get the football back. We got a tie ball game. They could, in all reality, could take this last 6:47, drive this down and score, but you don't want to have a repeat of last week.
No, you don't. And, York needs to get a good kickoff return here. And you want to run the clock out. You'd like to run it down, but the main thing is you keep the momentum on offense that you built. You keep the ball moving, and you move it down the field, and you do score.
Well, taking a look at some other scores, we see Sequatchie County hammering Grundy County 26-12. It was Smith County getting drilled now by Watertown. Watertown's come on strong in the second half, and it was 20-0. Clay County leading Pickett in the second quarter, and I had an update on that one yet. As now Beatty will kick it off, Gary. You got to be ready. You got to be getting those guys up. Make sure you get your hands on the football. You don't want to make a mistake on this kickoff because Beatty can put it pretty much where he wants to.
Yeah, the wind not blowing hardly as hard right now either.
And there's a grounder that's going to be taking a big hop up to Miller at the 15. Miller to the 20, to the 30, up to the 34-yard line before he's brought down. Pretty good return and pretty good field position for the Dragons, Gary, as now they've got 6 minutes to work with, 6 minutes, 41 seconds to take the lead and take a win here tonight.
Yeah, they do, and York taking over here at the 34-yard line, and, they moved the ball nicely on the last drive, Gary. Good momentum, got a big run at the end of the drive to get the touchdown. If you're York, you want to continue to do that again.
And, Gary, one thing here, this would be a really tough spot if York can come up and win this one as they've lost a heartbreaker last week. This time it's handoff. Miller going to spin, gets up to almost the 40-yard line. I think they're going to mark him right at the 40.
They are a gain of about 6 here, so good first down run by Thomas Miller. A little spin move at the end to get an extra yard or two, and, it brings up a 2nd and 4 situation for York.
So York now needs 4 yards for the first down, and back in will come Holder, and out will come Phillips. 6:13 left to go in the ball game, in regulation, I should say. We're tied at 21 apiece. York comes up. They got Cooper. Ben Cooper in the backfield. You got Miller on the right, Cole Cooper on the left, and Cole Cooper's rolling. They're going to throw it out to Cooper, and Cooper's trying to get downhill. Cuts back inside. He's got the first down and more up over midfield all the way to 46 of Livingston Academy. And, Gary, that was just a situation where they got Cole Cooper a running start, and once he gets a running start, he's hard to catch.
Yeah, he's able to pick his hole, Gary, and he turned it up the field through the hole and got it over midfield down to the 47-yard line of Livingston. So York has moved it into Livingston territory here with about 5:40 to go in the game.
And ideally, Gary, York would love just push this down and maybe with about a minute left on the clock, get inside that red zone and put it in the end zone.
Yeah, they would. You want to run time, but you want to keep the offense moving too, Gary.
And Miller this time gets hit, and he's dropped. He's going to get about a yard, Gary, before they drive him back, and that was good defense by Livingston Academy.
Yeah, you had number 56, which is Jake Oliver on the tackle again. Had some help from Mitchell Ayers on that one. So, they kindly met Miller at the line of scrimmage. He got maybe a yard out of that.
Gary, the thing about it, too, is York's really having trouble running this left side. Ayers and Oliver's really doing an excellent job on this left side.
Yeah, and you also have Austin Reeder over here who's been named in several tackles tonight as well.
And now this time York going to fake the hand. We got a flag, and we got a false start against York. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, they were moving at the snap, so going to back them up 5 yards here, and it's 2nd and 14, Gary, and we saw a drive down here after the onside kick that kind of went backwards as a result of a couple of penalties. So, York, no more penalties. You got to turn this ball up the field.
York with a 2nd and long now, and this is a big play for them. They need to get some of this yardage back to make that 3rd down more manageable because 3rd and 14 would be a tough 3rd down play call. Got a man in motion. This time they're going to hand out to Miller, and Miller going to be stacked up right at midfield, Gary. They maybe got a yard, a half a yard at most.
Yeah, nowhere to run in there. And once again, it was Reeder and Ayers that time on the tackle, and they're doing an effective job of clogging that line up in the middle, and York having to run it off the tackles or outside to get any real positive yards, Gary.
And we're down under 4 minutes. York does not want to give ball back to Livingston Academy with 3 minutes left in the quarter, as now they'll fake it. Now going to look, and Lefty go through. Got the big man out there. A good reception by Miller. Miller still on his feet, rumbles all the way down to the 25-yard line. And, Gary, that was a great catch by Miller, and then he actually got a couple more yards on it.
Yeah, he did, and, that was all set up by Landry Clefew in the ball fake there. He faked the handoff, just put it on his hip for a second, and just, really didn't take a drop back, just threw it over there, threw it to the middle of the field. Miller's staying there wide open, catches the ball, and they thought they had him tackled, but they didn't get him to the ground. He moves it up for about 5 more yards, Gary, and they're marking him about the 26-yard line.
1st and 10 for the Dragons at the 26, as the Dragons with 3 minutes and 10 seconds trying to get the go-ahead score here. They got a man in motion. They'll hand it off to Miller, and we got a flag again. And I believe they're going to call York again for a false start, Gary. And we mentioned York didn't have any penalties in the first half, but this second half they've got more flags than a Memorial Day parade.
They do, and it's been kind of ugly at times. And this is, it's the second penalty of this drive, and got to clean that up here. York, got a drive going. You're trying to win the football game right here. You can't. Those type penalties are those are errors and execution and being able to run the play, and something you practice all the time, and you got to take care of those things, especially right now.
Up will come the Dragons. They'll hand it off up the middle, and that'll go for a couple of yards, Gary, but it's going to make it 2nd and still long.
Well, that was Ben Cooper up the middle, and he got 4 out of it. Gary moved it down to about the 27-yard line, so it'll be 2nd and 11 for York.
And back in will come Josiah Headings. Gary, where do you got to get to feel comfortable for Johan West to kick a field goal?
I think if you're York, you're really not thinking field goal, Gary. You're trying to get 11 yards here in the next couple of plays and keep this drive moving. You want to score and, take as much time as you can.
And they're going to hand it off to Headings, and Headings going to carry a couple all the way up close to a first down, Gary. He's going to be about 3 yards short, it looks like.
Yeah, he's probably about the 16-yard line, something like that. So going to be 3rd and 4, actually.
So he's got some of that yardage back, and that's something you don't see. Is anybody bringing Headings down? And now you wonder if he had been at full strength, if they'd have brought him down on that one, because a couple of them bring him down.
Yeah, they're actually calling this 3rd and 4 from right at the 20-yard line, Gary. So a big 3rd down for York right here.
York got to get to the 16. Left, you got a man in motion, and there we got another flag down. No, we got a timeout called by York. Timeout on the field. We got a $1:22 to play, folks, and it's a 21-21 ball game.
Meta Thrift, your independent hometown pharmacy, is built upon a foundation of first. First pharmacy in this county. First with a drive-through window. First with a computer system for accuracy. First with a Script Pro machine. First pharmacy to fill 1 million prescriptions, and first to offer free delivery. Why all the first? Because we've been your prescription for caring since 1943.
Meta Thrift, we're always going to be your independent hometown pharmacy.
Well, we got 82 seconds left to go in regulation, Gary. It's 21-21. York right now, they're right about, it looks like is that the 15 or 20-yard line?
Yeah, 20, this would be a 37-yard attempt, and that's probably not a go for York right now. And, more importantly, it's 3rd down 4, Gary. They're trying to they've called timeout here. They're trying to get a play, and they want something that'll get 4 yards at least here. Move the chains, and then they can go to work towards trying to get this thing in the end zone with the last minute and 22 to go.
You got 82 ticks, though, not a whole lot of time. York still has 2 timeouts, if I'm correct, and we'll see what they do here. York needs 4 yards. It is 3rd and 4 for the Dragons. Lefty getting up and under center. Lefty. Man in in motion. Fakes handoff. Now he does get off to Miller. Miller's going to get the 4 and more. He's all the way down. Looks like close to the goal line, Gary. He's going to be about the 4-yard line. And with 76 seconds left to go, York has got it 1st and goal with a tie ball game.
Yeah, they do. Great run by Miller. They got good blocking at the point of attack. Gary opened the hole. He was able to run through it. And once Miller gets through a hole, he can make a couple of people miss, and he absolutely did that.
And we got a timeout on the field. We got 76 ticks, and this one tied at 21 apiece.
He's on the 30. He's on the 20. He's on the 10. It's a touchdown.
There's nothing like football. The lights, the cheers of the crowd, and getting a chance to see our local athletes and kids give it all they've got. Come to a game. Support our local schools. Upper Cumberland Federal Credit Union, a better way to bank. Federally insured by NCUA. Online at ucfcu.org.
Well, we've got 76 ticks left to go in this one, Gary, and York knocking on the door here. And as Whitesnake said in the classic song, once bitten, twice shy, you don't want to go for that field goal maybe.
No, you don't, and you don't. You're looking to get this in the end zone, and a great run by Miller, good blocking by the offensive line, and York 1st and goal from about the 5 here, Gary. Actually, they're calling it the 4-yard line.
Lefty will hand it off up the middle. That's Cooper, and Cooper going to be stacked up, Gary. And now the Dragons may have to take their final timeout.
Actually, Livingston is taking these timeouts, Gary. They've taken their 2nd timeout. Maybe it's their 3rd. I don't remember.
I think they called one earlier. I believe that may be their last timeout. We got 71 ticks left to go in this one, and a timeout all tied at 21 apiece.
Quality workmanship and exceptional customer service have defined Southeastern Drywall and Construction of Jamestown. From custom-built homes, residential construction, remodeling to commercial construction, Southeastern Drywall and Construction is dedicated to providing the best quality at reasonable prices. We're also looking for good carpenters. Call Southeastern Drywall and Construction at 931-267-5435. A proud supporter of sports and education in our area.
Well, here we go, Gary. 71 seconds left to go in this one. We got it 2nd and about 3 as give Cooper a yard on that last carry. And the Dragons right now are knocking at the door, Gary, trying to take the lead with less than a minute to go by the time this next play's over. They're going to hand off to Cole Cooper. He's over the right side. Did he get there? No signal yet. No signal yet.
He's short. No, touchdown.
Well, the official now says, touchdown! Dragons!
Yeah, late call, but actually the line judge from the far side of the field finally did come in and signal touchdown. I kind of thought he'd gotten in easily, Gary, but that was a real late call on that one. But great run, great push by the offensive line. Cole Cooper takes it in from 3 yards out.
27-21, Cole Cooper with the 3-yard run and a big one there. Now this is a big extra point coming from Johan West. As York trying to take a 7-point lead. The snap is high. The kick is up. The kick is true. We've got 1:04 to go, and we've got York on top, 28-21. And, Gary, the Dragons now take the lead. We got 64 seconds left to go. Now you've got to watch out for the long ball from Livingston Academy. But you mentioned during the break there was a penalty as well.
Yeah, actually, we've seen running into the holder and running into the kicker a couple of times tonight. And they finally did call Livingston for running into Johan West on that extra point attempt. So York will get that. That's the personal foul variety. So York will get the kickoff. Actually, it's the 5-yarder. So York will kick off from the 45-yard line here instead of the 40.
So York needs a good coverage on this one, Gary, and then you've got to watch the arm of McDonald. They can score quickly. We've seen that long pass earlier, so this one far from over, folks. as Johan West going to kick it off, and this is one of those they could stand him to drive it through the end zone.
They could, and they have kicked to Neely all night long. I think I might try to kick this to McDonald on the other side and take my chances that way a little bit too, maybe.
The wind has pretty much died now, though, so no wind behind Johan West as he kicks off here, and we'll see what he does as West's going to kick this one off. It's going to be hitting over to Neely. Neely bobbles it, has to pick it up. Now he's running for his life, and he's going to be hit and dropped right there, Gary. Good job by the Dragons. I think they got him out at the 15-yard line.
Right about the 15, 14, 15-yard line, and Livingston a long way to go and a short time to get there, Gary.
That's true. That could be a song, Gary.
Yeah, I believe it was at one time. But actually, they have marked this back, Gary. It's, I want to say that it's about the 13-yard line.
Okay, so 1st and 10 for Livingston Academy. Now the Dragons.
Actually, they're calling it the 15 according to the scoreboard.
So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 15 for the Livingston Wildcats. And we got timeout called by York, and Coach Derwin Wright is not happy. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back.
Venters Farmers Co-op, happy to be a proud sponsor of York Dragon football. We wish you a winning season. Every game is a success when you have played your best. Venters Farmers Co-op, bringing you quality products from feed, seed, and fertilizer, to automotive, to animal health and pet products, to gas, diesel, and propane, to clothing and boots for the family and a gift shop. All this and much more at Venters Farmers Co-op, 1219 Old Highway 127 South, Jamestown. Go Dragons! I still dream about.
Gary, we got 54 seconds, and York had to call a timeout as they didn't like the defense they were in. You don't want to make a mistake here because McDonald can definitely burn you.
Yeah, he can, and, they've hit on a couple of longer plays. They've got a 57-yard touchdown pass and a 53-yard touchdown run tonight, so they have big playability, and York got to rise to the challenge here and make one last stop, Gary.
McDonald in the shotgun. We've got 54 seconds left to go in this one. And I think Livingston out of timeouts. I'm not sure. They may have one more. I'm not sure, but they have not got many timeouts. They had to burn theirs, stopping the clock to keep some time to have a shot at it here at the end.
Yeah, they did. And, we know they took two to stop the clock there before York scored the touchdown. And I can't remember. Maybe think they took one in the third quarter as well, so they may be out of timeouts.
York dropping some folks back as we see back C.J. Walls dropping way back, Gary, to about the 30-yard line. He's dropping about 15 yards off the play, so they've got somebody playing center field out here.
Yeah, and they've got 5 defensive backs in there too, Gary. They've got Miller, West, Wall, Lathan Drake, and I believe it's Jacoby Allen on the other side as well. So York trying to protect against the pass here. And I don't know, we've got some kind of clock issue or something.
I think they're going to give them just a little bit more time. I think they started the clock, and now they're having to reset it.
Yeah, they're getting a signal here about how much time.
58.5, I believe they're going to give them. So that was about 4 more seconds added on the clock, Gary. But at this point, you've got to watch McDonald. He has got the arm, and York really hasn't had a lot of pressure on him tonight.
No, they haven't. When they have, he's been able to get away from it, Gary. So, got to gear up here one more time.
McDonald back in the shotgun. McDonald gets the snap. He's rolling, looking. Now he's flushed. He's going to roll, looking. Got a man out here. He's got Hollers. He'll catch it and step out of bounds at about the 26-yard line, it looks like. Or they're going to say, yeah, right at the 26.
Yeah, they're marking it right at the 26-yard line. That'll be a first down, and the chains will move the clock. Of course, they called him out of bounds, so the clock will start on the snap.
49.5 seconds left to go here in the ball game. York on top, 28-21.
York, once again, able to get pressure on McDonald. Just couldn't get him down. He's able to roll out of the pocket and wait for a man to work open.
This young man's going to be a terror when he's the senior next year, folks. As Will McDonald back in the shotgun takes the snap. He's going to quick it over to Hollers, and Hollers is hit and brought down. That's about a 6-yard gain. Gary, that's not going to get it when you're down by touchdown, and you've got to go 60-plus yards.
Yeah, York not in a hurry here to get the ball in, and Livingston, I guess, does have a timeout and elected to take it.
37.5 seconds to go. York on top, 28-21.
Casey's Frontier Chevrolet is clearing out 2018 inventory with discounts up to $10,000. See the huge inventory at kcchevy.com. That's kcchevy.com, where you can find your perfect ride and apply for financing. With your VIP appointment, they'll take it from there, so you just have to show up to sign and drive. Stock number S17100. Must finance with GM Financial and approved credit. See dealer for details.
Just 12 miles north of Cookville on Highway 111.
Oh, yeah, the dealership and the cow pasture.
And 43 seconds left to go here in the game, Gary. And York needing maybe 2 more stops on this one.
Yeah, they're putting some more time back on the clock there, Gary. So they moved it back to 43 seconds. And more importantly, York got them stopped for a gain of 6. They'll give up 6 yards on a play like that all day long, Gary.
Especially when you use 30 seconds off the clock. As now back in the shotgun goes McDonald. McDonald gets the snap, looking. Now he's flushed. He's going to run with it, and York will give that up to us. McDonald says, oh, and now we're going to get a flag. I knew it. Oh, York got a late hit on that one. And, Gary, that time the Dragons' number 21, Cade Brandon, come up and hit him after he went out of bounds.
Yeah, he did. You know, he is headed out of bounds. I don't know that he was out of bounds, but it doesn't matter. The flag was thrown. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty, and more importantly, it's going to move it out to about the 42-yard line of York.
And, Gary, that's big because now Livingston down, got 36 seconds left to go. They got plenty of time the way McDonald throws the football.
Yeah, they do, and, you know, I think this will be put on about the 42-yard line, and they're moving the ball, Gary. You know, York got to bow up here, you know, toughen up, time to make a stand and, you know, make a turnover. You haven't intercepted a pass all night. There's an opportunity here for you to get one.
1st and 10 for the Wildcats at the York 42. They trail by 7. And they'll get the snap. Dropping back is McDonald. McDonald looking. Now he's throwing. He's got a man out there. But York's got 2. It's intercepted. Picked up by Cade Brandon. Brandon just needs to go down here and not lose the football. Now we're going to have a flag on the end of it. Cade Brandon, Gary, comes back, makes a great play.
Yeah, they jerked him down by the face mask, so they'll get 15 yards out of that. But what a play by Cade Brandon now. Right after he gets a personal foul over here, he comes up with the big interception, dropping back in coverage, Gary. And, you know, McDonald, ill-advised throw. He had a guy down there, but it was double covered. And if Brandon doesn't get it, I don't know who the other guy was. I want to say it may have been Johan West. They both had it covered, and no way it was going to be completed. But a great play by Cade Brandon, and good job by York here, and York can take a knee, and let's get out of here with a win.
Exactly, and get ready for Cannon County next week. We'll talk about how big that Cannon County game is coming up in a few moments. But, Gary, that was a little bit of redemption for Cade Brandon as he just got the personal foul that put him into Dragon territory at the 42-yard line, but then comes up and makes a great interception, and now all York needs to do is pretend like they're in church and kneel down.
Yeah, I missed the penalty call, Gary. There's 2 flags down, and here he comes to make the official call and see what he's got.
Face mask, Livingston. And unsportsmanlike conduct against York.
So that'll be offsetting penalties, but still York got the ball at the, looks like about the 14-yard line. They can take a knee one time and should be able to end this one, Gary.
Yeah, it should be all but sealing the deal now. York just needs to take a knee. Livingston doesn't have any timeouts. So the Dragons are going to take their final timeout. So we got timeout on the field. 23 ticks left to go in this one. York on top, 28-21.
right now at Pizza Hut.
Get 2 medium 2-topping Pizza Hut pizzas
For just $5.99 each.
The perfect pair.
At the perfect price.
Order however you want.
Delivery or carry out.
Call or click.
Get one for me.
And me.
Or just you and yours.
Everyone gets what they want.
So get your perfect pair now.
2 medium 2-topping pizzas.
Just $5.99 each.
Because no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Ask for this offer. Additional charge for extra cheese, select crust types, and additional toppings. Product availability, prices, participation, delivery areas, and charges, and minimum purchase required for delivery may vary. Delivery charge is not a driver tip.
Well, Gary, the Dragons now are a kneel down away from picking up a huge win and bouncing back from a tough loss last week.
Yeah, great job by York. Needed to make a play. Got one finally, got an interception, and like I said, Landrick kneel on this one, and this will be over right here.
York getting ready to pick up their 7th win of the season as long as they get a good snap here and kneel down on it. The snap and a kneel down by Lefevue, and that should do it. The York Dragons, in a thriller, come back to win it, scoring with less than a minute to go. Picks up a 28-21 win over Livingston Academy and head into next week's Cannon County game on a roll. We'll see you back in a moment to talk about next week's games. We'll look at this one, and we'll also have our player of the game coming up and hopefully talk with Coach Derwin Wright in a little while also.
Whether you're competing on the athletic field or working hard in the classroom, remember you have the support of First Volunteer Bank, the bank with personality. We're behind you 100% of the way. Good luck to all the area teams. Play tough and play fair. And remember, when it comes to helping you with your banking needs, we're First Volunteer Bank, the bank with personality. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
And now over and over, it's First Volunteer for you.
At Twin Lakes, the customer always comes first, and that's why we've updated our broadband plans and pricing to fit your family's needs and budget. With new plans, faster speeds, and better values, we'll keep you connected just the way you want. Twin Lakes offers broadband speeds up to 1 gig. That's 1,000 megabits per second, so you'll never have to worry about your connectivity again. Visit us online at twinlakes.net or stop by one of our 7 local business offices, and we'll help you find the right speed for your family.
Like a great sports team needs a great captain to lead them, a county needs a great executive to move it forward, and Fentress County has it in Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy believes in this county and its endless possibilities. So for great sports and a great county, be like County Executive Jimmy Johnson and back Fentress County all the way.
The kids are back in school and the weather's turning cooler, and that can only mean one thing. Flu season will start soon. This year, Hall Family Pharmacy wants to help you fight the flu. Getting a flu shot means that you are 60% less likely to get the flu virus. This year at Hall Family Pharmacy, we are excited to make a $1 donation to the local children's shopping spree for each flu shot we give. So don't let the flu knock you out, and come by Hall Family Pharmacy for your annual flu shot. You won't be the only one glad you did.
The Tennessee Professional Firefighters Association has announced their support of Representative John Mark Wendell for election to the Tennessee General Assembly. In making the announcement, Tennessee Professional Firefighters Association President James Mitchell said, "The association is proud to support candidates like John Mark Wendell that measure up on the issues that most concerns our members. And we look forward to working with Representative Wendell on future legislative issues."
Paid for by Friends of John Mark Wendell.
Quality workmanship and exceptional customer service have defined Southeastern Drywall and Construction of Jamestown. From custom-built homes, residential construction, remodeling to commercial construction, Southeastern Drywall and Construction is dedicated to providing the best quality at reasonable prices. We're also looking for good carpenters. Call Southeastern Drywall and Construction at 931-267-5435, a proud supporter of sports and education in our area.
Well, back here where the York Dragons win a big one, Gary, the rivalry match, the annual Hog-Eye game, York with a huge win here tonight.
You're a huge win, Gary. You know, great job by York. And more importantly, you know, where things didn't go hardly as right last week in the end of the game, they went right tonight. And York able to, you know, execute, do the right things at the end there. And more importantly, big win for the Dragons.
We'll take a look at how big a win this was. We'll take a look at this next week's game. It's going to be huge, folks, and that will decide where you go in the first round of the playoffs next week. We'll take a look at all that here on the Progressive postgame show right after this word from Progressive Savings.
Cheer this year for all our school teams and activities. Get behind our local schools. Join the parent-teachers group and help improve the quality of education. Sponsor school activities. Go to a ball game, hear a concert, reach higher. Progressive Savings Bank, insured by FDIC.
Everything we do, it's true. We do for you.
And back here where York comes away with a huge matchup, a win over Livingston Academy, a huge rivalry matchup. Joining me, Coach Derwin Ryan. And, Coach, you couldn't have scripted that one much better.
I'm getting too old for this crap.
You both.
An emotional roller coaster. You know, there's another one. It's going to come down to who had it last, it seemed like. And, you know, we put together a great drive and was able to make them use most of their timeouts. And, you know, we were actually trying to take our time about scoring, but third and long, huge play. Thomas Miller and Landrick Lefevue connected on a veer hot pass, and you know, Landrick had to hold it a second longer, but then put it on him, and Thomas went up and made an outstanding catch, and huge play for us. And then, you know, Brandon made a bonehead play over here on the quarterback out of bounds, and, you know, he had to see it and stop, and just wasn't smart. But then he came back, redeemed himself with the interception at the end, and, you know, it's just a great game. Two good football teams battling, two different styles, but two good football teams, and just proud of the toughness our kids showed tonight.
Coach, he was playing a little short-handed, didn't get to play headings a whole lot, but when he come in, he kind of made a difference in the game. He kind of changed the dynamic of the game when he came in.
Well, he's got a really hurt, sore and hurt knee, and we didn't really want to have to use him. But, you know, he's a load. He's just a stout kid, and he's going to give you everything he's got. And, you know, Cole Cooper and Landrick Lefevue, can't say enough about them tonight. And the offensive line. Aaron Talent went down. He's a big left tackle for us, and we put Bryce Slavin in there, and Bryce hadn't got a lot of time at guard, and he picked it up and did a good job for us, and we kept the offense going. So proud of them and proud of Lathan Drake. Made some big plays when we had to have them in the passing game, and, you know, him and Landrick's really connecting well, and, you know, Landrick's right shoulder sore at the end, and, you know, we took him out, and, you know, you just can't hold a kid out. He's like, Coach, I got it. Let me finish. Last time playing Livingston, and, you know, we got him back in, and he finished it strong, and I just proud of our ball team tonight and coaching staff.
Coach, we said before the game it would be who had the least mistakes and who had the ball last, and that turned out to be the fact. Both teams had a couple of turnovers, but you guys had the ball last.
We did, and, well, we had the last opportunity. You know, we had put together a drive. I mean, it was a long drive and milked a lot of clock, so we left them with about 58 seconds, 58.6 or something like that to go, and we dropped back in a two-safety look. We were actually trying to play cover three with it and then keeping two in the middle because we knew they were, you know, going to test us long. And, you know, there for a second when they threw that one, I thought, oh, gosh, that kid's open. And then Cade come underneath it and C.J. Wall come underneath. And C.J., first game C.J. started for us all year. Dalton Barger had a whiplash-type injury a week ago. We had a JV game Monday. We held him out. On Tuesday, the doctor said he thought he was okay to play. They were going to send the results radiologist, and come find out he possibly lacked concussion and some whiplash. So obviously, you know, we found that out today, shut him down tonight, and you know, ended up having to bounce some people around. We moved Lathan Drake out to corner, who Lathan's been playing safety, put C.J. Wall in there, and you know, C.J. give one up on us, but you know, after that he settled down and played pretty good for us.
Coach, this win was huge because that makes your overall record 7-2. The worst, regardless of what happens next week, the worst you could finish would be fourth, and you sealed a playoff spot here with this one tonight.
Right. Well, we sealed that, and this game means a lot to our community and our fans. I'm in the middle of the week, and my secretary comes in and said there was a lady called, and she's York alumni, and she lives down in Livingston, and said, "Hey, tell Coach Wright and the Dragons to go and beat Hogeye." So she's an older lady, the senior citizen. Those folks were behind us, and it just means a lot. I told our seniors, I said, when you go to college, if you go anywhere close, you're gonna go to college with these guys. You're gonna go to college with Livingston, Upperman, those teams, and it's fun to sit back in the dorm because you become friends, sit back in the dorm, and, somebody's going to have the bragging rights. And so I'm just proud of our team tonight and what they did.
Coach, I'm going to give a big shout-out to the 12th man over there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They were, and, just a great, I knew it'd be a great atmosphere and just a hard-fought game. I mean, I think our kids were that emotional roller coaster too. I think at one time they thought, oh man, it's getting away from us. And I said, hey, we were there last week. We're getting the ball. There's 6 minutes to go. So if we want to, this is going to be our last possession. And we just need to take it down and do what we need to do. And our kids put together some big plays and a great drive, and just proud of what they did out there on the field.
You got the Cannon County Lions coming in next week.
Yep.
Cannon County in desperation mode. They have to win or get a Smith County loss they have to actually win to get in. Smith County, you can get in regardless of what they do next week. So Cannon County coming in here, they're a desperate team, and it's going to be a battle for number 3 and number 4. That'll depend where we travel on the following week.
Everybody I've talked to in our district says Cannon County is a physical football team this year, and they have a lot of speed. They're playing some pretty good football. We're going to have to come out, and we're going to have to put a game together like we did tonight, and do a better job against a wing T team than we did against Sequatchie County, because that's what they're running, and they have some speed. They like to hit you outside. Pretty good football team. We're going to have to really bear down and do a good job defensively next week to stop them.
And, Coach, we mentioned that'll determine where we go in first round of playoffs.
Absolutely. Sure will. It'll determine, either what I saw is if you're third, you're probably taking a trip to Single Mountain, and they were up here last year. If you're fourth, you're taking a trip back to Red Bank. So it's huge implications for us.
And, of course, it's also you want to go into that playoffs on a roll, and a 2-game win streak would be a pretty good roll.
Yes, it would, and not only that, we've got to get some kids back, back healthy, and we just, and then you're getting towards the new season's what I call it, the playoff season. You're getting there, and you want to go in. You want to go in with the momentum, and you want to go in winning a game like we did tonight. We've lost 2 like that. Well, we lost the Sequatchie game last week, which was huge game. Their coach and I were talking, and he said, Coach, I described that game as our kids beat each other up and down the field. And he said at the end, somebody looked up, and they were ahead, and they were like, oh, wow, we're really ahead. And he said, that's how I felt about it. He said, and Coach Watt Barter's been coaching a long time. I've been coaching a long time. And he said, that's probably the most physical football game that I've ever been involved high school coaching, because, both teams were laying it on the line. Both big fullbacks ended up hurt. Ours got hurt really early. Theirs got hurt towards the end. And, it's just it wears on you. But for us to bounce back this week and get a big win here, that shows a lot of fortitude and desire from our kids and our coaching staff. And I'm proud of what they did tonight.
Well, congratulations, Coach, on a great big win tonight, and we'll be looking forward to talking to you on Monday, and we'll also look forward to a big game next Friday night.
All right, thank you, Gary. We need that 12th man again next week.
It's football time on the mountain. At Progressive Savings Bank, we know running your small business is a lot like coaching a team. You call the plays that drive your business towards success, and we're your #1 fan. After all, you provide the products, the services, and jobs that keep our local economy moving forward. We partner with small businesses to help you reach your financial goals with free business checking and flexible financing to help operate and grow your business with the right financial equipment to keep you in the game. This is Mark Justice wishing our York Dragons a successful football season. We are proud once again to sponsor Dragon First Downs. Progressive Savings Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And back here at York, Kansas State, where the Dragons come away with a gritty 28-21 win. Gary, take a look at some stats from this one.
All right, for York, York had 22 first downs in the game. Gary, 16 by rushing, 5 by passing, 1 by penalty. 60 rushing attempts for 352 yards, about 5.9 yards a carry. And they were 5 of 10 through the air for 93 yards and had the 1 interception on the batted ball. Total of 445 yards of total offense. For Livingston, they only had 11 first downs, 4 rushing, 6 passing, 1 by penalty, 10 carries for 88 yards. They were 15 of 25 through the air for 255 yards, and of course they had 2 touchdown passes and 1 interception, 1 big interception at the end. 343 yards of total offense for Livingston. York ran 70 offensive plays tonight. Livingston only ran 35. And, you know, it was a close game. It was tight. But that makes a big difference in the game. They played a lot of snaps on defense, and York was able to start taking control of the line of scrimmage, and they moved the ball in the second half, Gary.
Like you said, Gary, that seemed to be the difference. It wore on Livingston's defense, and you be out there and you get hit a lot of times as well as York runs that option or runs that wing T. You get hit a lot of times. It takes its toll on you.
It does. You know, I think something that Coach Trout will look back on, you know, of course, he remarked about one of the penalties anyhow, but York, 9 penalties, 96 yards tonight, you know, so a lot of penalties, a lot of yardage. Time of possession was the other big thing. We thought York would win time of possession rather easily, and they held the ball for 34 minutes and 13 seconds, you know, and of course that only left 13:47 for Livingston. So, you know, York, a great job, you know, controlling the ball, put themselves in position to win the game, and they did. They put themselves in position to win the game last week, and they didn't, Gary. So I think, you know, it's a big deal, and I think, you know, that's something that you can kind of build on. You got Cannon County next week, and then you're going to go somewhere and play a playoff game the next week, and that's when that might really pay off for you.
But now next week, Gary, Cannon County comes in here a desperate team. Cannon County has got to win. If Cannon County loses, even if Smith County loses, it'd be a 3-way tie. Smith County's beaten Cannon County, and Grundy County has a terrible overall record, and I don't see Grundy County beating Smith County to begin with, but that would put them in a tie, and Smith County would get the bid, while Cannon County, who's played pretty well this year and had a bounce-back season, has just, you know, we'll see their season come to an abrupt end.
Yeah, they will, and, you know, they're coming up here next week. York really needs a win to seal that 3rd spot. I expect the Dragons to play well next week.
You're give some individual stats.
All right. Of course, York, they were led in rushing tonight by Cole Cooper, 18 carries, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns. Thomas Miller got 20 carries tonight for 133 yards and a touchdown. Ben Cooper, 10 for 44 and a touchdown. Josiah Headings, 3 for 17. Landrick Lefevue, 8 for 14. And that totals up 60 carries, 352 yards. Through the air, Lefevue was 5 of 10 for 93 yards, and the one tipped ball interception at the line of scrimmage. Lathan Drake catches 4 of those for 69. Thomas Miller got the other one for 24, and you heard Coach Wright what a big catch that was on 3rd down. For Livingston, they were led in rushing by Nate Neely, 3 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Michael Ayers, 5 carries for 18 yards, and Will McDonald, 2 carries for 3 yards. McDonald's 15 of 25 through the air for 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Brody Johnson caught 4 for 14. Will Sims, 3 for 103 and a touchdown. Michael Ayers 3 for 44, Aubrey Hollers 3 for 30, Wesley Smith 1 for 57 and a touchdown, and Nate Neely caught 1 for 7. So, great job by York. You just can't say enough about how they come out and took that last possession, took it down the field and scored, and did what they had to do to win the game.
So, and one thing also, they didn't have a lot of turnovers. That was good tonight. They had that one. That was a freak turnover. I mean, you very seldom ever see that, but that was the one turnover that led to some points for Livingston Academy. But York got 2 of their own. They got a onside kick plus a interception. So York had a couple of big plays as well. Well, we're going to take a final break, then we'll be back to name our Hall's player of the game. But first, this word from Progressive Savings Bank, our post-game sponsors.
Cheer this year for all our school teams and activities. Get behind our local schools. Join the parent-teachers group and help improve the quality of education. Sponsor school activities. Go to a ball game, hear a concert, reach higher. Progressive Savings Bank, insured by FDIC.
Everything we do, it's true. We do for you.
And back here on the post-game show brought to you by Progressive Savings Bank. It's time now for our Hall's Family Pharmacy Player of the Game.
Hello, this is Philip Hall with Hall Family Pharmacy. We are proud to feature this broadcast Player of the Game. For winning service that you can be proud of, choose Hall Family Pharmacy.
Well, Gary, as we look at tonight's game, who you feel player of the game honors go to?
Well, we talked about several things tonight, Gary, but really, York won this game because they were able to control time of possession, were able to move the football, and was able to pick up some big third downs. And so, therefore, I think, player of the game tonight will be Thomas Miller. And Thomas, 20 carries, 133 yards, and a touchdown, caught 1 pass for 24, a big pass catch on third down, had 1 kickoff return for 21 yards, 178 all-purpose yards, and on defense he had 6 solo tackles. So he's our player of the game tonight. I will say, though, I like your suggestion. I really think that the York fans made a difference in this game. They got behind the team when they got the ball with 6 minutes and change left. They were very ruckus over there. They were yelling and screaming behind the team. So, a special shout out for player of the game to the York fans tonight, too.
An honorary player of the game for the York fan club over there, the York Pep squad. And, Gary, this one sets up a big one next week. You got a desperate Lions team coming in. They've got to win to get in. York is in regardless of what happens next week, but York wants to be third in the district. You don't want to go to Red Bank to start it.
No, that game, Signal Mountain's they're a much improved team this year, and that's going to be a tough game to go down there. But you want to win. That's where you want to go. You don't want to go on down the road a few miles on down to Red Bank. And, that puts you in the same half of a bracket with Upperman as well. So I know Coach Wright would like to have another crack at them and another chance to play them. Of course, it would be at Baxter, and it would be a tough game. You got to win that first one first, but it's a couple of tough games, very much a challenge. But you got to win the first one first, and that's Cannon County next Friday night.
Well, we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thanks to our sponsors. We won't try to list them because I know Gerald needs to get into the news. So we're going to say congratulations to the York Dragons. Winners here tonight, 28-21. Until next Friday night when the Dragons host Cannon County in the regular season finale in a battle for the number 3 spot. I'm Gary Clark for Gary Hall. See you at the game.